justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ms. Peng,
Here.
Mr. Romano,
Here.
Mr. Shi,
Here.
Ms. White,
Here.
Mr. Mohan Patel,
Present.
Mr. Baral Patel, Mr. Schneider,
Here.
Mr. Rivera, Mr. Vishal Patel.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Opening statement?
In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, C 231 Sunshine Law, copies of this public meeting notice were sent to the Home News Tribune and the Star Ledger on January 3rd and September 27th, 2023. Members of the public may participate at regular meetings in accordance with the bylaws of the board and applicable state regulations.
Thank you. So in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231 PL 1975, adjourn to a confidential session for the purpose of discussing confidential student matters, personnel matters, health insurance contract disputes, former staff, and student litigations. Motion to adjourn to privileged session.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Second. Yeah.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
I'll have Brown
We
second.
will be,
They're great.
how long do you think?
We should be out by 7 o'clock.
By 7
Yeah.
o'clock? Hopefully we should be out. Thank you.
Great.
Do I have a motion to reconvene to open session?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Let's get started.
Can we get some quiet on the floor, please? Thank you.
Presentation first? Student, oh, we have, yeah, we have two student council representation here. Oh, JP
One of
canceled? Oh, just one, I guess. So we have Mrs. Sharvi, I'm sorry, Padamadahabi from Edison High.
Good afternoon, board members. I'm Charvi Padmanabhani, the Student Council President and Student Representative from Edison High School. Recently, we had our homecoming game and dance, which both went successfully and had high attendance. We have our pep rally this Friday, and the Student Council has numerous games planned to keep the students entertained. In the Eagle Sports, our girls' tennis team's second singles, Nandini Chandra, won at the GMCs and qualified for states. Kyla Davis from the girls' volleyball team is among the top 10 middle blockers in the county, with 200 career kills and 100 kills just this season. She was also nominated for the state's top girls' volleyball senior. Kaden Aravena of the girls' soccer team was also nominated for the top girls' soccer junior in the state. The Student Council is starting our Battle of the Classes event and has our first mini event, a pumpkin painting event, next Friday. After surveying the students on student issues, numerous responded regarding the senior lot's potholes. They also mentioned how the lack of arrows to enter and exit the senior lot can be confusing and cause car traffic in the morning and afternoon. Students from bus EH12 also exclaimed how the buses are overcrowded in the morning. It is tough to find a seat, and when they do find a seat, they're usually barely able to fit in, causing safety issues. Thank you.
Thank you.
Which school bus route?
EH12?
12, yeah.
And, okay. Well, thank you for bringing the issue to our attention. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Next, we would have, well, our presentation, special ed
Great.
committee update.
Yeah.
Mr. Tui.
Yeah, perfect. I take this opportunity to introduce Dr. Tui, Assistant Superintendent of Pupil Special Services currently right now. He's going to be talking about a Success Academy that we are going to be bringing in to Edison Township with Board of Education approval. Extremely excited. He's got a large task ahead of him, but confident that he will be able to navigate the waters with a really good team that he's putting and assembling behind him. Dr. Tui, the floor is yours.
Great, so fantastic. Thank you, Board of Education members. I know we have a thick agenda tonight, and I'll be brief, but I was... Closer? Yes. Thanks, Mr. Shi. I'll be brief, but we had a special education committee meeting last week, and I was essentially asked, because we have a couple different initiatives on the agenda, to turnkey the special ed committee report. So last week, September 21st, 2023, a few weeks ago, excuse me, 4:30 p.m. Our attendees were Mr. Romano, Mr. Schneider, Mr. Patel, Mr. Rivera, Dr. Aldarelli, Mr. Toth, Ms. Daniel, myself. What we talked about, as Dr. Aldarelli alluded to, in part, was the Edison Success Academy, which is a proposal for an alternate school. But I also wanted to update the board on our progress thus far with preschool expansion aid. So for those of you who didn't tune in for the April meeting or haven't gotten the information yet, just a very quick overview. Preschool expansion aid are federal funds that are available to school districts who are looking to expand their preschool offerings to their entire eligible universe of 3 and 4-year-olds within 5 years. We made the decision last year as a district that it's something we're going to pursue. And since that time, we've held kickoff meetings with potential partners. We've visited these partners' locations. We've received soft commitment letters from the partners, completed our in-house quality application surveys at Grow New Jersey. We're looking to begin the process of securing staffing for these programs, but we have a little bit left to go. On the screen right now are some initiatives, items, steps to take that we have over the next year. Again, the rollout for this program, we'd be boots on the ground September of '24. And between now and then, some information is going to have to be shared with our community. If I'm the parent of a 3 and 4-year-old, I know there's a lot of text on this slide, or somebody who would be 3 or 4 next year, I want you to key into 2 important dates. The week of December 11th, we're going to be sending out what I've been talking to my team as all cylinders communication, right? Social media, email blasts, website. The idea is to get this information out to our community that we're going to be expanding our preschool program in December, but also eliciting feedback, trying to get any questions that potential enrollees may have or the parents of potential enrollees with the intent of holding a virtual town hall the second week in January. We'll use the information we get from our community to really tailor that presentation, have people on there to answer questions in the moment, and then, again, submit an FAQ document at the end of that to answer any follow-ups. The intent here is we're moving forward. Come September of '24, we will have successfully applied and expanded our pre-K offerings in district. But to what Dr. Aldarelli alluded to, now I know this is really small. Just like preschool expansion aid, we were looking at subsets of underserved populations and available resources. With preschool expansion aid, we have a relatively small preschool program and federal funds. With at-risk students, we currently own a property across the street from Menlo Park School on Calvert Avenue that's just sitting there waiting to be used. And I do have to say, when I knew that I had authority to present to the board talking about improving that property, my first call was to Mr. Duggan over at Menlo Park just to assure him that at the end of my presentation, his responsibilities weren't increasing twofold. So he totally understood it and was happy about it. But what the proposal is a program for at-risk students. These are kids that have difficulty meeting with success in traditional high school and middle school settings. And what sets this apart from the logistics that are on the screen, is that it's proficiency-based. And what I mean by that is if you fast forward into sophomore, junior, senior year, if you have a credit deficit, very often on paper, you could have 5 years of school left. It doesn't have to be that way with some of the platforms that we have available to our students for credit recovery. The target population for this program is students that are either currently receiving their education outside of Edison or could potentially receive their education outside of Edison. And just like PEA, there's some logistics involved in this. We have to plan for our academic program, coordinate the staff who will be delivering supportive services to this population, set up our campus and community vocational programs, and most importantly, establish a criteria. Now, when we talk about criteria, this program is not intended to be a place where we send kids and forget them. It's not a long-term program. It's a transitional program, and you have to either identify a desire to graduate from JP or EHS or be recognized as a student who has the ability to do those two things. It's a transitional program to work with students in kind of a unique, novel setting, an alternative setting, support their individual needs, and like PEA, Preschool Expansion Aid, we're looking to start this September of '24. So both of these programs benefit not only the kids directly associated with them, but our community as a whole. And that's because of the reimbursement implications on preschool expansion aid and the tuition implications on the alternate school. The students we're targeting don't currently attend Edison, and that is an expense to our tax base. So I just wanted to thank the Board of Education for anticipated support, and honestly, commend you kind of for the vision. It's giving our department the opportunity to bookend our programs really effectively. So that's this month's special education report, and thanks for giving me the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dewey. Great. Yeah. Round of applause. Excellent.
Next, we have another presentation, stated standardized assessment. Ms. Berninda
Great.
Goomer.
Yeah. So we have Ms. Goomer as well, are both of our chief
Yes.
academic officers currently right now. We have Ms. Goomer as well as Mr. Cohen. Before they begin this presentation, just one of the things that we wanted to highlight. These are some of the pieces that we look at on a daily basis, right? Student achievement, it's why we are in the business here of educating our students. Where the rubber meets the road, we do this as a partnership with our teachers. Nothing moves forward without them, day to day, and our talented administrative group and supervisory staff members, as well as our paraprofessionals, everybody that contributes to any child's success in any way, shape, or form. So I'm looking forward to continuing these discussions, not only amongst the academic officers, but engaging in conversations with teachers, visiting classrooms, and really pushing the envelope here. So without further hesitation, I will turn it over to the very talented elementary chief academic officer.
Yeah, I'm very thankful that we have a secondary one now.
Yes,
For a while,
yes.
it was all hands on deck. Good morning, good evening, Board of Education. I'm hopeful that it's not morning. I've already done the day. Thank you very much. I'm here today, and so is Mr. Rick Cohen, to talk about our assessment data for the past spring 2022. We have some good news, and that is that we're going to start off with our ELA for NJSLA. And what's exciting about this year is that we were above the state in all grades at the meeting and exceeding levels, and we also, at the elementary level, scored above the state in every single question. So that was something that was very exciting for us. So this graph that you see here compares year to year, and this is by grade level. Keep in mind that what's shown there, for example, for 2016-17, those students then moved to grade 4 for 17-18. These are not the same students for each grade. You can see here, and you'll see it again in some of the other subject areas, that there is a marked distinction where we drop, and that is a result of the COVID years. Another notable item is that in grade 3, pretty much across the state, those students are now fourth graders. Scores were low across the state, understandably so, because our students missed their foundational years in first and second grade, which is where we build the blocks for everything else. Our subgroups, something also very exciting that we managed to achieve this past year is that all of our subgroups, grade 3 through 5, increased in percentage for meets and exceeds. For example, our subgroup of Latinx students went from grade 3 was only 34.2% passed, to grade 4, 37.9, and in grade 5, 43.5. So it seems that the longer that they're with us, the more they achieve. Another subgroup area is our gender, and as expected, we kind of are balanced across the board in every subject area as far as male and female genders. Another area that we look at is program. Program means anything that is outside of the general education arena. For example, students who might have 504s, that allows them to have modifications for access to being in school and learning, students with IEPs, ELL students, and students who are on free and reduced lunch. So some of the responses to this data. I had mentioned before that our students from one grade to another made growth in all grades, and actually it was in all grades except for one grade, which was 5th to 6th. The subgroup percentage of students achieving met or exceeded went up from grade 3 to 4 and to 5. Our secondary students specifically demonstrated strength in writing and reading informational text. Things we know we still need to work on. We are still trying to become more student-centered, and that means allowing students to be able to recognize their own learning that needs to happen, and that would be via conferencing, making connections and inferences from charts and graphs, explicit ways to think about reading strategies. Something we did in the elementary curriculum this year was we included thinking steps. So some students do not necessarily understand all of the pieces that go into achieving an answer, and we've broken it down for teachers and for students. Another thing that we've done is we have identified students in elementary that are scoring in the approaching range, so they may just need a little extra to kind of get over the hump. And we have also introduced targeted elementary PD based on school goals, and those are from experts in the field. So we have people like Leah Mermelstein and Paul Riccomini coming in to work with our teachers. The next subject area is math. And again, we were above the state in all areas except for grade 8, which is when we differentiate our coursework and students are in different tracks. There is a slight increase post-COVID, which is exciting to see. So we know that we're on our way. We do believe it's going to take a little bit of time to get to where we were and to exceed where we were, but we're on our way. Again, you'll see that in our subgroups, the effect of COVID is still detrimental, and we are working hard to make sure that we're providing extra supports for students. Again, in math, for gender, we are actually pretty balanced again. 56% meeting and exceeded for female, and male was 60. Subgroups, math results for the subgroups. Again, this is students with IEPs, 504s, ELL students, and special education students. And we have also implemented intervention. There are intervention teachers at the middle schools. We have intervention teachers at elementary. We are doing academies before and after school to provide additional support. As I just mentioned, we will be doing the academies, but some great things. Our results were all above the state in all elementary tested grades. Geometry and Algebra 2 increased in performance due to our curriculum changes. And we know that we need to change the scope and sequence. We did over the summer for mathematics, for fractions, numbers and operations in fractions. We realized that we needed to do that earlier in the year so that we had time to revisit if we needed to. We're also filling gaps via spiraling, which means that we can go back to a topic and maybe work at a deeper level with it, or to help those students who might need a little extra. We're using formative and summative data to drive curricular pacing for interventions and for ongoing progress monitoring. Again, we're using PD from experts in the field. Specifically, Paul Riccomini is a math expert. We're also adding in earlier test prep in the year so that students get used to the structure and the vocabulary of the questions. That can trick some up as they go through the test. Science is next. We are well above the state here. In 5th grade, we were at 49% that passed versus 27. In 8th, it was 50 versus 16. And in 11th, it was 55 versus 30. So that is something very exciting for us. And if you look year to year, again, you can see that we either increased or stayed around the same. There's still more. Plenty. Again, subgroups, we are still working with our subgroups in science as well. We know we have work to do. As a district, again, we're pretty balanced across gender, 47% female, 48% male. And by program, this is again the IEP, students with IEPs, 504s, ELL, et cetera, and we do make adjustments based on this data to our curriculum and our pacing. Some of the strengths that showed up during this data was life sciences, investigating practices, and supporting claims with evidence. Some needs and next steps, we know that we need to do more hands-on work with the elementary students. At the secondary, we need to make sure that we're having strong questioning abilities based on phenomena and making sure that we're interdisciplinary between subjects. Next, we have our access testing results, and these are our ELL students. It is tests students from kindergarten through grade 12 that have been identified as English language learners or multi-language learners. It monitors their progress in English, academic English specifically, and it follows the WIDA language development standards. There's 4 areas in this: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. In this case, 4.5 is the level that we have as a cutoff to exit the program. There is consistent growth from students, but we do also have to remember that students vary in their proficiency coming to us. And also, so there may be some students in the program that are there for 1 year based on their background knowledge, and some that have been there for 5. So some things that we're doing, we did exceed our goal of exiting students and reaching that 4.5 cutoff point. There is consistent growth for those that didn't pass the cutoff point, and we have absolutely been revising our structures. There's been more support at the high school level for students who are ELLs, more support within the content classrooms. We've also added dual language this year, which has been helpful for our elementary students. And we are continuing with our SIOP training, which is sheltered instruction. We do have after-school programs for ESL students for extra support. We're using research-based strategies. We have increased staffing this year. We have had more students join us as well. And there is a very strong community and outreach through an ESL family program that currently happens. And with that, I am going to pass it on to Mr. Cohen.
Good evening. It's great to be back and see you all again. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and to present the data. I did want to give, just a special thanks. I've had such a great 6 days so far being in district. It's a wonderful team. They've really embraced me, helped me out a lot. I want to give a special thanks to my colleagues, Ms. Goomer and Dr. Tui, for their help and just kind of help me get oriented, as well as particularly in this presentation. And I have to give a special thanks to our secondary principals, as well as our, I've been still meeting all the secondary supervisors, but in particular, this data presentation gave me a great opportunity to sit down and talk about NJSLA in particular at the secondary levels with our English language arts supervisors, Lisa and Harriet, with our science supervisors, Janice and Lori, and as well as our math with Sam and Liz. And I gotta tell you, I've been so impressed by what they're teaching me, the work that's going on here in Edison, and the plans that they have to support all students' learning. And I've just been overwhelmed by how wonderful the practices that they're talking about implementing, as well as the how. I'm like, well, how are you going to do all this? And they're like, well, in our department meetings, we're able to cover by the supervisor, as well as having teachers that are having success with these practices in the classroom turnkey. And we address the district goal of questioning across the board to help students learn in our in-service days with teacher leaders and supervisor support. So it's great collaboration. They're doing wonderful things, and I was really excited to learn about all those wonderful things that were going on when it comes to NJSLA. Now I have the opportunity to talk. I got a lot of time to talk with our guidance supervisors, Brian Glassberg and Dr. Brownberg, I'm sorry. Glassberg, yes, and Brown Gard.
Gotcha.
Sorry, Diane. Some really exciting things that are going on, in particular in regards to advanced placement results. There has been a dramatic increase in the total number of exams that were taken, as well as a strong increase in the total number of students taking the exams, while at the same time, no statistically significant decrease in performance, so that the percent of students scoring 3 or higher remain consistent from last year, despite dramatic increases of students in the classrooms. We see here from this is a breakout in the total in AP student exams and broken out by school. So we see that there was a very large increase at JP Stephen, and there was a steady enrollment in terms of Edison High School. So in terms of response, the strengths I've already kind of talked about on the slides when we talked about the data, but in terms of our needs and our next steps, we want to continue to expand our AP offerings and opportunities. And
Mr.
extend
Cohen,
these- Yep.
excuse me for 1 second. Can you go back to the previous slide, please? Thank you.
So with JP, in 2022, there were 1,127 students that were enrolled in AP or taking exams, and then in this past year, 23, was 1212, so about 750 total increase, and Edison was at 478 and is now at 470. So maintaining the last 3 years, they've maintained essentially around that 470 range. Of course, there are plenty of students out there now that are realizing that AP credits aren't as widely accepted by colleges, so sometimes you'll see these numbers decrease in other districts, but in Edison, it's great to see that there's an increase or remaining steady. Already had numerous conversations in district, along with our curriculum committee and Dr. Aldarelli, about how can we continue to expand and offer college like experiences for our students, and for them to get the opportunity to test their own college readiness and get feedback as to how ready they are for college. So in order to expand and get that great opportunity and that experience for more students, we're already in discussion about adding new AP courses, additional ones, to the 24-25 program of studies, as well as extending the opportunity for 9th graders to take an AP course next year. So we look forward to the process of rolling out the 24-25 program of studies, and those additions will be there for the community. Moving on to SAT, we see an increase in the number of students taking SATs at both schools. And again, this is something that Edison is doing that's special, that bucks kind of the trend on a wider scale. There are plenty of students that are realizing that, that there are not as many colleges requiring these entrance exams. And this shows that our students are dedicated to saying, this is an opportunity for me to distinguish myself in my candidacy, so they're taking advantage of that. And not only are there more students in Edison taking, but the scores have increased. In math, the scores went up from last year. And in reading, they're essentially consistent with the scores from last year. But if you notice at the state and global level, scores at the state and global level went down from last year. And so when everybody else is going down, but Edison is maintaining or increasing, that's a real celebration. So in terms of our needs and next steps, we want to continue to encourage all students to take these college entrance exams, as they can enhance the student's application. It's an opportunity for them to get a leg up. With that being said, the ACT data is not presenting tonight because we have not gotten official scores yet from ACT. We do expect them hopefully later this week, in which case we can give an update, but for tonight we didn't want to give it unless it was official. This brings us to the GPA test scores. This is students in 11th grade took it last year, so students that are graduating in 2024 had an opportunity to take this test as a pathway for graduation for this year. Apologies, this is in my updating. The 750 was a passing score from last year. This year is 725. The state revised that. And what you see here is the average scores. So what we're going to focus on here is the numbers on the right, where we see the percent of students passing. There is what you see on the right is, and it's hard to see with the numbers, apologies, because they're very small. But in terms of the percent passing in math, at Edison was 53%, and at JP Stevens was 89%, and in English language arts at Edison was 74%, and at JP Stevens 95%. And our guidance supervisors and our teams at the high schools are working with other students if they need an alternative pathway. There are numerous ways in which they can demonstrate success. I have to apologize for some of the NJ GPA data. There was a little bit of a glitch with as I was vetting the scores with Linkit, and so I wasn't able to double verify until the last minute, and so some of this still needs some updating, which I will ensure is updated by tomorrow before posting. But we do see dramatic increases in passing percentages from last year, and we did see an increase in our English language arts score from last year as well. Our next steps are really very similar to some of the best practices that Ms. Goomer talked about when talking about math and our improvement plans to improve our students' math learning. That's the area where we know we can increase even further our student performance. So we're going to work on that spiraling to give kids multiple opportunities to practice and keep the math content fresh so it's not forgotten. And using data to drive instruction, talking with Sam Grimaldi and Liz Lell extensively about how they use data with teachers to identify and target interventions for support in a timely way. I was really impressed by the practices that they have there and the intervention team that they have. And now I'm going to talk about DLM testing results in collaboration with Dr. Tui. Just as a little background information, DLM is only for students that qualify. Those are generally about 1% of the population that is exempt from state tests, and it's typically due to significant cognitive disability. So the DLM is a dynamic learning map assessment, which is an individualized assessment tool. It's extensive in terms of the individualization, and so it requires a great deal of staff training for them to be able to individualize the assessment for each one of their students' unique needs. Dr. Tui shared with us this data. We see that an increase in student proficiency in all subject areas, English language arts, math, and science from last year. And I asked him, so what do you attribute the success to? And he's like, we've been working for the last year plus with staff on how to really target and individualize the assessment accurately enough to the students' strengths and their needs. He said that staff are doing a great job with that, and that's where he attributes the success to and says we're going to find even more success in future years. This is broken down by grades, only by the grades that met the state-required N number of 10 or more. So not all grades are included here, but they are posted here for the public. And so next steps are to continue that training and developing our staff's ability to administer individualized dynamic learning map assessments, targeting the area of first contact surveys and the personal needs and preference profile. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Round of applause.
Thank you.
Excellent.
That was great. Now we have another exciting presentation.
Yes.
Our capital projects.
Yeah, this is going to be our.
Yeah, they say they save the best for last, right? Good evening, board members and members of the public. I'm John Toth. For those of you that don't know, I'm the business administrator and board secretary. I'm going to be doing a brief capital project planning overview. So first up, we have the John Marshall Classroom Edition at an estimated cost of $32 million. This is a concept design. It's very, very in the planning stages, I should say. And what it has is 3 floors, 23 classrooms, 1 music room, 4 SGI rooms, 6 offices, a cafetorium, renovated media center, renovated library, and a renovated art room. It's a 51,000 square foot addition and 5,000 square feet renovation. So This is something that we're developing together with Building Administration, Ms. Hoffman, Dr. Aldarelli, Finance and Facilities Committee, Mr. Colobus' staff, in order to deal with overcrowding. Next up is the Edison High School addition and classroom renovation. This is an estimated cost of $21 million. Whoa, I went too fast. Sorry, guys. Uh-oh.
Dr. Ross.
Thank you. Oh, there we go. All right, so the Edison High School classroom addition consists of 10 classrooms. It's 10,000 square feet, including an LLD workshop. Dr. Tilley, I'm sure you'll be happy with that. Completely new a new orchestra room addition that's roughly 3,000 square feet. There'll be renovations to the main corridor, renovations to the cafeteria, and a brand-new secure vestibule at the entrance. So all told, about 13,000 square feet in renovation and additional space at a cost on the high end of about $21 million. Still in the planning stages. We're working this design. The first design was by DMR Architects. This one is by SSP. Collaboration with Dr. Aldarelli, myself, Mr. Ross, Ms. Hoffman, Mr. Colobus, Mr. Murphy, Ms. Becci. Everybody collaborating together to identify the needs of our students and identify the needs of our building. So in the planning stages, we are hoping to make this a reality in the upcoming fiscal year 2025 budget, because tonight you're going to see we're setting up our budget calendar, because budgeting for next school year actually began last month we started. So, we're in the planning stages for these big projects. The previous board and this board has made a commitment to do something about overcrowding, and these are some of the concepts that we're going to take to fruition. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Toth.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just a
Yeah,
quick,
Dr.
just
Adderley.
quick summary.
Yeah.
I think one of the, when we look at these presentations in isolation, right, and then collectively at all of those pieces, they really are unified under one vision, right? And that is, creating spaces for all of our students to succeed, right? And kids learn in environments that are pleasant, that are conducive to learning spaces, that provide opportunities for flexible space. And I think that, the leadership team that we have currently assembled, and in concert with our teachers and our building level administration and supervisors, we're moving this place in the right direction. So I greatly appreciate all the administrative presentations this evening, and I look forward to the work ahead. And I do thank this board for its commitment. They've done a wonderful job in supporting all of the endeavors.
Thank you, Dr. Adderley. Next, we have a public hearing. You want to introduce the violence and vandalism?
Yeah, so our violence and vandalism report is a report that's mandated to be reported to the public, as well as a public hearing each year, and mandated by code. It documents incidents of violence and vandalism, and one of the things that we do look at is what are the root causes of those pieces? How do we remediate it? How do we provide students with education and restorative practices in order to make decisions that are aligned with pro-social behaviors? We are committed to getting into, what we're committed to is making sure that we have resources to support that, right? We're going to get grassroots. We're going to touch base with teachers, make sure that we have the appropriate staff to service these students. We are going to be looking at counseling services as well, and any leadership positions that we can assist in making sure that our students are in a safe and learning environment. So the supports that we need to make our students successful begin at the classroom level. So that's all I have in relationship to that.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the violence and vandalism report?
Motion.
Second.
That was Mr. Baral Patel, second.
Yeah.
Mr. Vishal Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Mr. Schneider?
Yes.
Mr. Baral Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Mohun Patel? Ms. White?
Yes.
Mr. Shi?
Yes.
Vice President Romano?
Yes.
President Peng?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we have a resolution. I'd like to ask Dr. Areli and Mr. Toth to go over the resolutions.
Yeah, perfect. I can begin with my administrative report right here. It is American Education Week coming up. Great opportunity. Listen, in Edison Township, we celebrate the success of our students every week that we're in school, I'd like to think, but this is a perfect opportunity for parents to get involved in the learning process and witness the great things that are going on in our classrooms in certain schools. We have a week of respect, which is already passed, actually. It's in October, beginning of October. We promoted unbelievable activities that support understanding, tolerance of not only differences between our students, but our cultures as well. Our staff did a wonderful job in relationship to that. As mandated by law, we also have to approve our school self-assessment in relationship to anti-bullying based upon the specific criteria that's listed in the resolutions. We have an amendment to a settlement agreement. We do have several policies that are actually all mandated. The first reading of policies, all mandated and mandated revisions that range from attendance to homeless pieces, and all of those components are basically codified in law. So we have to make those changes. We have our approval of the ice hockey memorandum of understanding with our Parents Association. That's something that we do annually. We pride ourselves on our partnership with that, and that goes in tandem with our approval of our ice rental agreement. And finally, the presentation that we saw beforehand is the approval of the establishment of the Edison Success Academy, our alternate school. For curriculum and instruction, we have the approval of the administration of our PSATs for 8th grade and 9th grade. Those dates are listed in the agenda. We have the approval of our field trips that we pride ourselves on, the majority of which are no cost to our district. We have our professional development documentation. One of the things we do a really good job of is providing not only in-house with our very talented professional development team, opportunities for professional growth for our teachers and our paraprofessionals, but we also provide them opportunities to get out and listen to people outside of Edison that understand cutting-edge research, instructional practices, and the expectation for those is that they do come back and turnkey that information to grade-level colleagues, administrative colleagues. It's one of the things that we are kind of spearheading within our administrative group. So we're actually looking forward to the great things that are going on in relationship to that. We have our pupil and special services report. Many of the things that you've seen on the agenda before are out-of-district placements, our approval of special services, and the resolutions in relationship to finance.
Yep. So the first one, we have our traditional standard financial reports that we have every month, including our fiscal year 2025 budget calendar. That's the document that the administrative staff uses to guide us to building the budget, because the budget that we have a hearing on in April starts being built. That was actually last month in September, so it's quite the long process. That document will also be posted online so the public and the administrative staff could all see it and see how the process unfolds throughout the school year. We have some contracts for professional and educational services. We have some bids. The highlight is the J.P. Stevens addition and alterations project to Bismarck Construction. Its estimated cost at $23.7 million ballpark. This is for a classroom addition along with new tennis courts and additional parking. Again, this will greatly assist us with overcrowding. We have some project change orders. We're receiving some grants, about $54,000 for trees that will be planted throughout varying schools. And I think the building principals will work with Mr. Colobus on that. And $14,000 for some shade coverings. We have the disposal and sale of some fixed assets. So the district has acquired new copiers. We are going to take the older copiers, declare them obsolete, and try to reverse bid them to generate some revenue. We then have some non-public contracts for technology and professional development, along with our transportation report that has some contract addendums.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board President,
Yeah,
can I
Dr.
just,
yeah.
as part of the administrative, I know it's not on the agenda currently right now, but I do want to highlight two pieces prior to going to approval of resolutions. We launched Instagram last Wednesday, right? We launched Instagram last Wednesday. We have over 1,000 followers currently right now and increasing. We do encourage all members of our community to join in our celebrations of our successes here in Edison Township. I think it's a great way to spread the message, not only what's going on for board-related matters and some of the things that we do from a business aspect, but more importantly, all the great things that are going on in our schools, too. So those are one of the things I wanted to highlight. The other thing I want to highlight, too, which is also community-based, is that we have a parent university that is scheduled for Wednesday, November 1st. Currently, right now, I think we have over 140 participants registered in this, so hopefully those of you that have not joined up can make sure that we go do that. I know that we have access to that on our website. Doors open at 6:15. The evening's going to begin with some of our students speaking, and then we're going to break into parent learning sessions. We're really excited about this endeavor. I think it's a great way to inform parents about what's going on in our community from a teacher and a leadership perspective, but also at the same time, my goal is to bring in the experts and within our community that can share some of the things that they're doing really well and have this be an authentic experience to find out what do parents really want to learn about, how do they want to get involved in their child's education, and how can we partner with the members of our community, because they are the reason, in concert with all of our staff, that our district has such an outstanding reputation. So I wanted to make note of that before we
Thank
move
you.
forward.
And 6:15, November 1st.
6:15, Wednesday, November 1st, doors will open. And then,
Which?
oh, yeah, it's in
Here,
Edison High School.
Edison High
Yep,
School?
Yep,
Okay.
it's in Edison High School.
Okay, and are we going to have a recording of this, or
Yeah, I think we
can
could yeah.
parents watch online?
I don't believe parents can watch online. We would like it to be an in-person piece, so hopefully if you're free that evening, you can stay for as long or as little as you want. You can attend as many workshops as you want as well, too. And all the information is located on our website, as long as the information to sign up. So I think it's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to attending.
Thank you.
Dr.
Sounds
Alvarelli,
great.
if you could just let the public know what our Instagram page is, so we can actually, or Heather, can you let the public know what our Instagram page is so people can sign up? Especially everybody that's sitting here, you should be signed up if you haven't signed up yet.
Heather.
I'll get right to the
Yeah.
podium. Yeah.
Okay.
Tell everybody the hashtag so people can hashtag too.
Okay, hello, everyone. Hello, community. You may not know who I am. I'm Heather Daniel, Director of Communications and Policy. And I invite you to visit our website. I feel funny talking this way because you all know about our social.
Yes.
So I'm going to talk to the parents. I invite you to go to our website. You're going to have a pop-up. There are 2 QR codes. There's an Instagram QR code and there's a Facebook QR code that you can link to. If you'd like to go and look for us via your Facebook account, it is called Edison Township Public Schools. It's the official Facebook account.
So the official Facebook is Edison Township Public Schools.
And for Instagram, our official account, it is Edison Township _Public Schools.
So for Instagram, it is Edison Township _
Public Schools.
Great.
Okay, thank you. If anyone needs assistance, you can email me at heather.daniel@edison.k12.nj.us.
Thank you, Ms.
Heather.
Daniel.
Okay, now let's have public comments on resolution only. No?
One in the back.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Fagan.
Nick Fagan, 42 Edgewood Road, Edison. I've been recognized.
Yes, you are.
Thank you, Board President. I had seen in the agenda that 2 policies were being abolished, and I was just wondering, they seem like good policies. The food service school nutrition policy, 8540, and then meal charges, 8550, was being abolished. Can somebody maybe explain?
Yeah, great.
Is that all you have, or you have another? Do you want to ask all the questions, then we can answer?
No, I'd like an answer now.
Okay.
Well, we don't work that way. What we do is you ask all your questions first, and then we'll answer those questions.
How you've treated
Yeah,
other residents.
that's fine. We'll treat you that way, though. Thank you.
Okay. You're not running the meeting. Board
have-
President, your meeting, your
No,
meeting.
no, it's fine. Do you want to ask all the questions? Do you want your question to be answered right now?
Oh, I would like my question to be answered.
Okay. Do we have policy number?
Yeah, the first.
8540 and 8550.
Yeah, this is.
The abolished food service policy is incorporated into policy 8500. What's the other one?
It's food service and what? I'm sorry, Mr. Fagan.
So 8540 looks to be school nutrition programs, and it looks like the whole policy got whacked.
Yeah, because they were, I can answer that?
Yes.
They were amended to be included into 8500. So the policy's not abolished, but it's included, it's consolidated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, except 8500 doesn't have any additions. I don't see any new stuff. So it's just that 8500 did cover what 8540
Correct.
covered previously, and you
Yes,
didn't
sir.
need to fix 8500.
Correct.
Okay, and then 8550 looks like it's a policy that prevents stigmatization of students who can't pay for meals. Looks like a decent policy. Is that also being rolled into 8500?
No, that one. Revised.
Looks like this policy prohibits the district from requiring a student to discard a school meal after it's been served because the student can't pay.
Yeah, yeah.
Seems like a good policy to me. I don't understand why that's being abolished.
In reference to the, for lack of a better word, it was the meal shaming policy, is that?
Yeah, I'm reading this policy that says the board recognizes a student may forget to bring breakfast or lunch, and this looks like that it
Yeah, that was-
gives,
yeah,
it gives some grace to the student and the staff to make sure that the student gets fed. I don't know why we're saying that that's not going to be the policy of the district anymore.
It's definitely the policy of the district. So any student that comes, yeah,
It's being revised. That's policy. We're not. Yeah, Dr. Tu, you can speak to that policy, but I think we definitely are not going to leave the students hungry if they forgot to bring the lunch money. If that's what you're asking.
I guess I'm trying to understand. I see in the agenda, I see 8550, and I see the word abolished across it. And I guess Board President, are you voting tonight to abolish these four pages from the policy?
well, the one for 8550, it's mandated. Anytime there's an M listed next to a policy, we get guidance from a company called Strauss Esme that mandates certain things. It either mandates an revision of a policy, it could mandate the initiation of a policy, or the abolishment of a policy. So it's a legal team, it's entitled Strauss Esme. They make recommendations with regards to, sometimes to revise, like some of them you'll see revised. Those are board discussions that we have in relationship to policy. But this one is a mandated policy that has to be abolished. That,
Yeah.
So the legal advisor of
not
the
8550
It's
is what we're
first
talking
reading.
about currently. It's relationship to the meal shaming policy. In other words, if a student comes to school without having lunch, our practice and our policy is to make sure that they do have lunch. Now, prior to this policy, they were giving them what was called a cheese sandwich, and I think some of the educators on this stage would recognize that. You know, Mr. Rivera is a current vice principal right now. So one of the practices is that if a student shows up to school and they don't have money and they have a balance on their account, they're only entitled to a select item, and that select item a while ago was a cheese sandwich.
It's an alternate meal, which the
Is a-
state has basically said you cannot do that.
You cannot do that.
You
cannot.
can't tell a student who doesn't have funds or whatever, what have you, come through the line and say you can only have a cheese sandwich.
Right.
They
So
could still
pick off the menu, whatever
they may
the
choose.
offerings are
So
currently right
This was
now.
required to be amended.
So they're not regulated to a bagel or a cheese sandwich anymore. What they're allowed to do is order off of the menu in order to avoid what the term was called meal shaming at that time. Yeah, lunch shaming.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Superintendent.
Does that make sense for those pieces?
Yes, I mean, I hear you that your legal guidance of the board, of
First reading anyway.
the district has advised that this is no longer a policy that should be here for whatever reason. Maybe it's covered in state law somewhere else. It just was surprising when I saw abolished across what I read to be a policy that gives grace to educators and hungry kids. And I was a little alarmed when I said, well, we're abolished means we're not going to do that anymore. So I think you've cleared it up.
Okay.
As long as we're not going to leave kids hungry, I think that's where I was at. is
No,
I
no,
didn't wanna-
absolutely not.
it
And this was
didn't
more,
seem-
but this policy was about meal choice, in not the actual practice of denying kids a lunch. So
And I think the revised policy actually making sure the students are entitled to a full menued meal instead of just a cheese sandwich. So that's what's being changed.
That's,
Yeah.
I'll take you at your word that
yeah,
that's
I
what
think the
you're
initial
trying to
policy
do.
was implemented in 2014, 2015, somewhere along those lines, and 2016 and being abolished currently right now.
And the last statement I have is that I really do appreciate the board and the administration working on, the one I'm going to pick on is the J.P. Stephen Classroom Extension. It's great to see that here, and I would wish that you all support it wholeheartedly, unanimously, and make that go forward as fast as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Seeing none, motion to end public comments for resolution only?
Motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Motion to approve the personnel reports.
Motion?
Second.
You guys
Roll
are
call.
quick tonight. Hang on one second. Mr. Shi, Mr. Moen.
Bisho.
Oh, that was Vishal. Oh, sorry, buddy.
Mo was a little late.
And Moen.
Never late.
You guys are quick. All right. Mr. Vishal Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Rivera.
Yes.
Mr. Schneider.
Yes.
Mr. Baral Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Moen Patel.
Yes.
Ms. White.
Yes.
Mr. Shi.
Yes.
Vice President Romano.
Yes.
President Peng.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Congratulations.
Motion to approve administration, curriculum and instruction, pupil special service reports.
Motion. Second.
Wow. 2 for 2. Mr. Vishal Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Rivera.
Yes.
Mr. Schneider.
Yes.
Mr. Baral Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Mohan Patel.
Yes.
Ms. White.
Yes.
Mr. Shi.
Yes.
Vice President Romano.
Yes.
President Peng.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion to approve finance reports.
Motion. Second.
That was that
That's same.
Same
same,
time.
right?
Yeah.
Same time.
I'll make it easy.
You pick who's first, who's second.
Whoever has a shorter name.
Mr. Vishal Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Rivera.
I'm abstaining, please.
I'm staying?
Abstain.
Okay. Noted. Mr. Schneider.
Yes to all, except I will abstain on the J.P. Stevens renovation. I'm very excited about that. That's part of our Phase 1 plan. However, the lack of a PLA with our union brothers and sisters, it does not sit well with me. I asked our chair of the Finance Committee to look at that. It wasn't put forth. So as much as I want that building expanded, as we
Yes or no?
all agreed on, I'm abstaining. Thank you.
Noted. Mr. Baral Patel.
Yes.
Mr. Mohan Patel.
Yes.
Ms. White.
Yes, but I need to say this. I'm very, very disappointed that that our union people are not being utilized. I think, when we put out these bids, we need to put something on there that will, directed towards union workers and union labor.
You know,
Can we-
we support them. I think the word, I'm
Board
not sure,
President,
is.
we're having a
excuse
vote right
me-
now?
Excuse me, Moen, that's rude. I think.
Mrs. White,
If there's a vote going on, that's what we're doing.
I'd like to cut the comments shorter, if we can just go ahead with the vote first.
Okay, but that's what I want. Thank you.
Mr. Shi?
Yes.
Vice President Romano?
Yes.
President Peng?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Now we have committee reports. Athletic Committee report, Mr. Vishal Patel.
Hello. So Athletic Committee met on October 11 from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Attendees were Vishal Patel, Ms. Shannon Pang, Dr. Alderelli, and Mr. John Toth. There was various statuses that was collected from the last meeting. Status for the middle school volleyball. A total of 350 girls tried out for the volleyball middle school teams across 4 schools. The volleyball games started this week already for the girls team, and schedule for the volleyball games is on the school websites. Status for the middle school cricket, the job requisition for intramural fitness activity advisor is posted. The interscholastic cricket will start after spring sports wrap up. The school district is planning to use a soft tennis ball for the middle school cricket. However, committee suggested of using the hard tennis ball as it prepares the students better for the leather ball cricket. Status for the high school cricket club, a job requisition for the club sport advisor role has been posted. High schools are surveying students to determine the level of play, advanced, intermediate, or beginner. Addison School District is planning to use a hard tennis ball, so it's easier for other school districts monetarily. The committee, however, suggested of using a leather ball over the tennis ball. The cricket games will start in April and will be played on Saturdays. Status for the batting cages at EHS and JP Stevens. The district will receive the pricing for the batting cages on October 20th. Committee has advised to have the batting cages ready by December 2023, so the student can start using them in March and April 2024. Status for outdoor tennis courts for the JP Stevens, it's part of the JP Stevens bid that we just approved, so it will be constructed along with the JP Stevens expansion. And for EHS tennis court, the contract has been awarded to a co-op company to build 5 tennis courts. That committee advised the school administration to request the contractor to complete the tennis courts before next school year. Status for the online sports form submission, there is, nurses, there is a committee formed to look at the process and software that will allow parents to submit the health forms online versus, dropping it off. We requested the report to ensure the ground crews are rolling the pitches, and administration reported that it is getting rolled every week, and grass is mowed, and Mr. Kalibas will oversee this process going forward. Follow-up for the review of the coaching framework for all the school sports has been provided to middle schools and high school. And at a high level, it has been, in a 5-step coaching model, starting from warm-up, skill drill, teamwork drills, practices, and cool-down. And about the baseline report for 2022 and 2023, sports achievement for 2 high school, the report will be shared with the committee sometime this month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, real quick.
yeah,
One of the
Doc.
things I just want to highlight in those pieces is our club cricket program currently right now. I just do want to compliment both of our athletic directors as well as the athletic committee. We're going to be pioneers in that area. We're really looking forward to it. I read an article today that cricket's back as an Olympic sport too. So I think that making sure that these programs are for our students and building the capacity there. Hope we're going to be the leaders in this space. So I'm looking forward to it and the partnerships that we have with our local school districts as well too. So I commend everybody's efforts in that area.
Thank you.
Board President?
Yeah, Mr. Shi.
Yeah, just a quick comment. So in Vishal's report, he mentioned we started the middle school volleyball program in our district. Just happened today is the anniversary of the passing of Anthony White, who was the volleyball coach for J.P. Stevens. She was my daughter's volleyball coach for 4 years. And this is something that I spoke to him when my daughter was playing volleyball. To have a feeder program into our high schools. I am extremely, extremely happy to see the program finally taking place this year. Unfortunately, he could not see it. But I just want to say, Anthony, we worked it out. Right? That's all.
Thank you. Curriculum and Instruction Committee, Mr. Vishal Patel.
Okay, the meeting took place on October 11 from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Attendees were Vishal Patel, Shannon Pang, Biral Patel, Dr. Alderelli, Mr. Richard Cohen, Jonathan Toth, and Heather Daniel. There was some follow-up discussion happened about sharing the presentations and videos used in a class for the health education for 2nd and 5th grader. Dr. Alderelli said the principals will be conducting the meetings with the parents to review the health education teaching material for 2nd to 5th graders. It is allowing opportunity for parents to understand, what the kids are going to be taught in a class. Follow up on a WIN period. There'll be a video with an interesting topics will be shown to the schools, all the middle schools with the students having a WIN period. Administration is also researching the enrichment courses and programs that can be offered during the WIN period. And the committee advised the district to come up with a self-learning program that can be measured at the end of the marking period or at the end of the year. Follow up on offering AP courses on the 9th grade. Mr. Cohen just today said he's looking into offering AP courses to the 9th grade. Some examples of AP courses that he's looking at is AP in Computer Science Principles and AP Human Geography. So if all goes well, starting next school year, 9th grade students will have an opportunity to take AP courses. Follow-up conversation, there are numerous conversations about the school rating showing up on the gradeschools.org. So our district tried to reach out to the gradeschool.org, but they were not able to talk to anybody on a phone. They don't provide phone support. However, they were able to get some responses via email, but responses sounded like a mechanical responses, which didn't provide the information on how they are rating the school. District believes that the school rating is not using the accurate data while rating the schools. So we cannot, the school district cannot control how grade schools are rating the schools, but what they have decided to do or they are planning to do is publishing the Edison schools, student achievement data using some of the public channels that we are announcing. I think two academic directors already published some of the student achievements data, and then our district plans to continue to show that, to show the parents and community the progress the students are making and the progress the schools are making across the board, because it doesn't seem like the grade school is a reliable source for looking at the school rating. Next one was there were some concerns about elementary school standard-based reports. So there was a pilot done for 3 years before implementing, the standard-based report for kindergarten to 3rd grade this year. The committee has advised the district to get the feedback from teachers about the standard-based reports and analyze whether it's a path forward, right, and whether it needs to be expanded to 4th and 5th. Committee proposed to facilitate 2 to 5 minutes mindful breathing in all schools. So I'm sure we all are hearing there is a mental stress issue going among the students, and committee will discuss with the school administration on figuring out a way to offer 2 to 5 minutes mindful breathing in all the school. District will review the possibility of offering in a physical education or health class, along with some other self-calming strategies and options. District will pilot this program with some school starting this year and see how it goes, and then potentially expand it going forward. The committee also proposed to introduce yoga pranayama. It means it's a different breathing techniques that help students calm and get control on their mental health during the middle school wind period. Committee also referred a professor from Rampo College of New Jersey who offered to run the enrichment program for business analytics to discuss an enrichment, to teach an enrichment at Edison, to high school students in Edison. So committee is gonna, the administration is gonna talk to this gentleman and see how we can offer business analytics program to the high schooler. And for people who doesn't know, business analytics it's a combination of AI, ML, and blockchain. So the professor that is willing to volunteer is an expert in AI, ML, and blockchain, and he teaches that at the college, and he's willing to offer what he calls master class or enrichment class to the high school students. So the district is going to look into it. Committee proposed to offer geometry credit course in the summer for incoming 9th grade students who took Algebra 1 in 8th grade. So typically in Edison middle schools, when the student is in honor class, they take a geometry. If they are not in honor class, they take Algebra 1. Committee make a recommendation that why don't we provide a credit course for those students who missed out on taking a geometry in the 8th grade, between the 8th and 9th grade, so they can basically jump a level and start taking Algebra 2 in a 9th grade. Similarly, committee also proposed to offer geometry credit courses to upcoming 10th grade students. So in case student was not taking geometry in a 9th grade, we are trying to offer a credit course between 9th and 10th grade. Of course, there are some financial implications and resource implications with that, but district is going to look into the possibility of offering those credit courses during the summer. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Vishal. Finance and Facility Committee reports. Mr. Shi?
Okay. We had a finance facility meeting October 12th. The meeting occurred at 4:30. In attendance were Mohim Patel, Vishal Patel, Joe Romano, myself, Mr. Toast, Jacqueline Becky, and Scott Murphy. So we reviewed the fiscal year 24 projects. For DMR, we have two architects, three actually. So DMR for JP Stevens bid was awarded to Bismarck at $23 million. The groundbreaking will be November 1st. So we welcome everyone to come to JP for the groundbreaking ceremony. The good news of this is all the bids that we received were under the budget. So we saved quite some money compared to what was budgeted for. And that leaves us with some additional funding to fund some other projects. Herbert Hoover addition, the concrete slab and plumbing will be done over the next couple of weeks. Herbert is the first one we started the addition. TJ, the foundation at the front of the building are ongoing, and the back of the building is being excavated. JP Auditorium, it's currently out for bid. The bid should open October 31st. The JMP kitchen, TCONS is currently in the process of providing DMR with submittals, so they are going to provide DMR with some of the, what they're going to do, and we hope that we can get the work started very soon. And the other is Woodrow Wilson and John Adams locker room. The bids received on October 13th. For USA Architects, they're handling three projects. The John Adams Foundation work has already started. John Adams was the last one to start the work because there's some issue with the soil. We have to get soil permissions and stuff. That's a lot of red tape. For Woodrow Wilson, preparations underway for the slab installation. And JMI, we're in the final phase of the planning. So now we have some extra money left for the JP Stevens. We can possibly look into bidding this. It's estimated about $18 million. And on the ESIP program, the building envelope work and solar panel installation work is ongoing at several buildings. Woodbrook MLK and TJ. Is that correct, Mr. Toth?
That's correct.
Yeah, so if you look up, you will see solar panels over there.
That's correct.
Okay. So Mr. Toth just presented the 25 fiscal year 25 projects. The first one is John Marshall, the 23 classroom addition, cafeteria, multi-purpose room renovation, the playground, and additional parking. I think we're adding probably 90-something parking, 96, 95 parking, somewhere around there.
Accurate.
Yeah. And the estimated cost of that is $32 million. This is the most expensive project we have so far. We hope that when we bid it, will come down.
Let's hope we get good prices.
Yes. So, Edison High School, Mr. Toth just presented. The SSP did a design for that. It's estimated right now about $21 million. We also talked about these for the other schools. We're tracking them. The J.P. Stevens cafeteria and the labs. So the plan was to double the cafeteria space and connecting the new wing at the end to the main building to add labs. The other, it's somewhere around $16 to $18 million. I forgot the number. The John Adams, the classroom addition, is also somewhere in the ballpark. And also for tracking purposes, we also have a maintenance building. There are some change orders for the Woodrow Wilson. There are 4 change orders. They're $1,300, $2,800, $45K, and $35K. Contracts. Keystone Sports Construction. Vishal touched on this tennis court in Edison High. They're redoing the whole tennis court. We'll mill it and repave it. And this one is additional, on top of that, the tennis court fence. It's at $106,000. The DMR, we had the rock rents, the fee of $214K, and DMR also has a locker room conversion. It's $120K. Dr. Tui presented the facility of Our Savior's Church. We need to do some renovation. The SSP has some designed the concept for the facility design, and that's costing us $64K. And the meeting was adjourned at about 5:30, and that's it from me.
I have a question.
Thank
for
you.
them.
Yeah, Mr. Patel.
Do we know when the solar panel projects will be completed? It means solar panel will be installed in 17, I guess, out of 19 schools?
I couldn't give you a firm date, but I could follow that up with you tomorrow.
Thank you.
I can provide you that. Listen, we try to get it done as quick as we can possible. Know that,
Yeah.
because we save money
I
with
know,
the solar.
I'm super excited about that, so.
As are we. As are we.
Yeah, just that, the public to understand, the ESIP program is budget neutral. It's a $27.5 million investment, and there's no increase on the budget. And we'll be absorbing all the costs through the power that's generated through these solar panels. And my understanding is all the roofs of the 17 schools has been prepared, and all they need to do is, next step is install the panels. And part of the solar ESIP program is there are a couple of boilers needs to be replaced, and the lightings in some of the buildings. We'll change them to LED. So a total $27.5 million investment, budget neutral, no budget increase.
Thank you.
Thank you.
More questions? Okay. I just have a quick meeting announcement. Next caucus meeting Thursday.
Policy.
Huh?
Policy committee.
Oh, there's a, oh, it's not down here. Oh, we have another committee reports, the policy committee report. Yes.
You want me to do it, or you want to do it?
You guys do it, because that wasn't.
Yeah.
I'll read it. Okay, I will read. So the policy committee meeting met on Monday, October 9th, 2023 at 5 p.m. In attendance were me, Mr. Jerry Shi, Mr. Romano, Dr. Adewale, Mr. Toth, Dr. Tui, and Mrs. Daniel. The committee discussed new, revised, and abolished policies. New policy discussion included sick leave and school threat assessment teams, each resulting from newly introduced state legislation. Mandated revised discussion included changes in attendance policy related to newly enacted sick leave law, the eligibility of residents, non-resident students, and food services, each also in alignment with recent legislative changes. Recommended revision discussion were reflective of minor changes to legislative guidance regarding religion in schools and the education of homeless children and youth. Also addressed were the examination for cause and right of privacy policies. The committee also discussed the abolishment of the Bridge Year Pilot Program, as the last graduating class eligible to participate was the class of 2022. The sick leave policies as a result of new policy 1614.201, and they abolished the food service policies as the result of incorporation into policy 8500. That was the policy committee reports.
Madam President?
Yep.
Just want to add something about this sick leave that we have parents talking about. If your kids like just a couple of days, do you need doctor's notes? So we have it in our regulation that up to 3 days that you don't need a doctor note, and if more than 3 days, you will be needing a doctor note. And I think the suggestion to the parents is, when you know your kids is not going to be, is not well today, send an email or something in writing to the school to have it on record that your kid is going to be off. But when the kids return to the school, bring a note, bring a parent note, okay? But it has to be 3 days or less. So we're going to make that policy, we're going to make all the buildings aware of this policy. This is a regulation that we have. So it'll make it easier for the parents. Because, some of the kids, they just, after a couple of days, they'll recover. We don't need you to go to the doctor's office and do the co-pays and schedule all the appointments and stuff for the inconveniences. So 3 days or less.
So, Mr. Shi, that's for middle school and high school, right? All the schools?
Across the
All the
district.
schools.
Across.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just want to, make it clear.
Yeah.
I saw some questions on social media on this. Superintendent has made sure that it will be communicated to the buildings, and they'll be following this regulation.
Just a side note, parents can also go on the parent portal, Genesis. On the students' attendance, you can just mark the students absent for that day, and then later on send a parent note to the school. Okay, now the meeting announcement. Caucus meeting, Thursday, November 16th, 2023 at Ed Center at 7 p.m. And the next public meeting is Tuesday, November 21st, 2023 at Edison High School, 7 p.m. Okay. Dr. Early, you want to introduce our...
Yeah, before we have board member comments and open discussion, I would just like to introduce a new member of the organization, Assistant Superintendent of Operations, Dr. Christopher Huss. We are looking forward to his leadership on the team, and if you wouldn't mind coming up, saying a few words right now, Dr. Huss. Maybe a round of applause to welcome him. I greatly appreciate it. Position I believe firmly in right now. I think we have the right candidate for the job. I appreciate the board's support in this endeavor as we move forward here in Edison. So, Dr. Huss.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Aldarelli, and thank you, everyone. I'm honored, overwhelmed, and overjoyed to be given this opportunity to join a district of this caliber. Just being here tonight and listening to these presentations are a testament to the district's commitment to excellence. With impressive test scores, progressive and innovative ideas surrounding preschool and an alternate school, as well as a commitment to expanding and renovating facilities to ensure that the students have great learning experiences, just reaffirms and is a testament to why I wanted to join a district that is as impressive as the Edison School District. I want to thank the esteemed school board members for their support and their confidence in me, as well as all of the committee members who participated in 3 grueling rounds of interviews, but it was all worth it. I really look forward to joining this impressive administrative team that you're building and continue to build. and getting to work here to contribute, assist, and lead in any way that I can. So thank you all. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Come
and,
aboard.
welcome on board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we have board member open discussion.
Madam President?
Comments? Yeah, Dr. Shi? Mr. Shi. Not doctor yet.
Not yet.
No, not yet. So, Dr. Aldarelli, I always ask these kind of questions from the parents, and the key question is the bus subscription.
Good.
So we opened up the subscription bus early. We changed we abolished the street index. We just going by the distances. And a lot of students have submitted the applications, parents have submitted applications, and we also accommodated some of the students that previously were marked as walkers. So the question is, what is the process for these new subscriptions? When can they know they're going to get a bus? And the follow-up question is, related to this, we have a tracking software. My understanding is it was targeted to be released at the end of this month and beginning of next month, so we're still on target on that. And the third question related to the bus is the payment of the current subscriptions. I think we opened it up on the 16th, so if you can comment on that, and if John wants to jump in, then feel free.
Yeah, I think Mr. Toth and I can kind of tag team this question. So the process for subscription busing is going to be exactly the same as it was for the June 30th deadline. It'll be done on a first-come, first-served basis. It will be done based on availability, as well as meeting the new criteria also. So there is still a criteria in place. We did fix some of the problems with this. I do want to talk a little bit about the street index. I think the change did fix some of the problems with the street index, but we know that we have work ahead to do, right, with some of the communities that might not have sidewalks and things along those lines. We have to do a deep dive into making sure that we're providing subscription busing to students that not only fit the requirements for the mile and a quarter, but some areas that we determine should also be included in that aspect as well, too. That's going to be a January task. We're going to make sure that all of that information is rolled out and communicated to our community. We're going to do a better job of what we did last year, although we did communicate it. I think some of the issues could be handled better. We're always looking to improve here. I think I captured some of it. There were three aspects of that question. I want to say.
The tracking software
Tracking
and
software.
the payment.
Perfect, and payment.
So, like Dr. Aldarelli was saying, we the board collectively put together a sensible metric to go about applying for subscription busing. You're eligible from K to 5 at a mile or more, a mile and a quarter for 6 to 12, so it's very easy to understand. That application can be filled out online. Obviously, you go onto a waiting list, and when a seat opens up, we'll reach out to you and make you aware that you're able to get a bus to school. To give you a rough idea, though, we opened up the new application on October 3rd. So between October 3rd and the 11th, we were able to make 75 seats available to students. So this is good. We're trying to get more kids in the same geographic region in order to go out to bid to package another route. So it makes it a little bit easier for everybody, for the parents, for the students, everyone. The portal is currently open, so you can make your payment online via the parent portal. I know I was speaking to Miss Jackie Becci today, and we've already received a lot of payments. And to that end, the Stop Finder software platform, we're still in the process of installing it and implementing it. To my understanding, we're going to be beta testing it at the end of this month, rolling it out probably early first week of November. So that will be coming your way as well. But I think we have a more sensible bus stop timing. Everyone via the parent portal knows it's not 45 minutes any longer like in previous years, because that's insane to be standing outside for 45 minutes when you only need to be at the stop, 10 minutes. So to that regard, and any questions, if there's issues with stops or just following up with transportation with the subscription buses. I know a lot of people like to reach out to Dr. Aldarelli or myself first. We usually, even if we receive an email or a phone call, we still go to the transportation staff. So I implore you, reach out to them. They will get back to you, and we're doing the best we can.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What's the process if somebody is given the subscription bus pass and they don't pay with your deadline, by your deadline?
We have a 30-day grace period, right? So within 30 days, you're given the seat. That's a month. By that time, if you don't make payment, we're going to have the building principal reach out to the parents to inquire as to when to be expecting the payment.
And if you still don't get the payment, what's the process?
Well, I mean, this is a service, right, that's provided at a cost, so unfortunately, it would be an uncomfortable conversation, but in the event that you don't pay, we can't provide you a seat on the bus anymore, so that you would relinquish your seat, and that would then open it up for somebody that may be eligible. But, I anticipate for the window of time that those conversations will be few and far between.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just another follow-up on this. So we have a cutoff line, right? 1 1/4 and 2 miles and 2.5 miles. So I actually met a couple parents. They're right at the cutoff line, like 2.5 miles, 2 miles. So right now, they are as subscribers. So if you can clarify, what is the policy from the state? Is that 2.5 or above, or 2.5? Yeah.
Absolutely right. So when it comes to the elementary students, in order to qualify for what you would call paid busing, it's 2 miles and greater. At the secondary level, it's 2.5. So it's at that 2 and greater or 2.5 and greater. So like 1.99, that wouldn't qualify, so to speak, if you wanted to get to that detail. But it's 2 miles and greater for the elementary students, 2.5 for the secondary. For the free busing, and then with the subscription, it's sensible now. No longer a street index. Thank you very much, collectively, the 9 board members and Dr. A, to make all of our lives a little easier. 1 mile, right, for elementary, K to 5, and then your 6 to 12, we're 1.25 miles. So 6 to 12, 1.25 miles is pretty. It's walking distance, right? If you Google Map, use the walk person. 1.25 miles is 1.25 miles, not 1.15.
So if they're at 2.5 miles, we are supposed to transfer them, or 2.5 or above?
2.5 and beyond.
2.5 and beyond does not equal. It's
Correct.
greater than. Greater than.
Beyond 2.5.
Thank you.
It's a Google walk distance, right?
Yeah, it's a
Google,
Google
right?
walk.
It's if you
Google Walk.
It's everyone thinks it's car. It's walking distance. It's walking distance door to door.
So for their reference, for a parent's reference, what do they enter in Google Walk? School address or the nearest?
School address, home
School
address.
address,
But there could be where it takes you through like a park, so to speak. I'm just being hypothetical. It may not be a street. It could have you cutting through a walk path on a park, which is less than 2 miles. Fair enough. Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other board member comments?
I'll
Miss-
Go for it. I'll go after you.
Okay, so I had written down the bus issues, but a lot of them were addressed. Only thing I would like to say is, second to what Mr. John Todd said, if there are any issues, board members are not having any access to any kind of bus software. Like last month we touched on this, like Jerry and myself tried to help out, and we went to the communities to see firsthand what the issue with the stop is, how far is the stop, and then we communicate that message to Dr. Elderelli, right? But transportation department is the right place to contact. Reach out to the transportation department. A lot of parents I have seen have not even made that attempt, not even opened the help desk ticket, not even reached out to Dr. Elderelli or Mr. Toth, and reaching out to board members is so convenient for them to text us. And more importantly, the problem here is the harassing messages that we still continue to get, and that's for real. Last night I got a message that from one of the community, they were looking for a bus, and they were saying that, what happened is we don't get the bus here, even though if we filled out the form, you will face action if we don't get the bus. So that's a very inappropriate and very harassing message to send to a board member, and this is one example. So I want to make it very clear, all the board members here, they're not getting paid any salary over here. We are we ran for this position out of passion and commitment for the district, and all of us work hard towards benefit of education. We are passionate, and we really have no access to any software or any system or any maps or anything that shows any information about transportation. So please, I want everyone to understand that the board members have no access to any transportation, and I as a matter of fact, some parent reached out and I copied Dr. Eldarelli, and the parent responds back and removes Dr. Eldarelli. So, so I just want to make it clear that reach out to transportation department, reach out to Mr. Toth and Dr. Eldarelli afterwards, and then see where it goes. I mean, the district is doing, compared to last month, look at what happened this month. A lot of issues have been resolved. As Jerry updated, the street index has been scrapped. It's a mileage now. So many parents were able to get the bus for that. So many stop issues were resolved. Dr. Eldarelli and Mr. Toth visited the stops personally. They did their due diligence, and they resolved so many bus stop issues. So there may be more. There may be more parents who are needing buses for their children, and we completely agree. But please reach out to them. And I'm pretty hopeful that they are doing their everything they can to get the buses in a timely manner and address the stop issues as well. Congratulations, Mr. Chris Huss. I don't know if he's here. He left probably. Oh, he left. Okay. Yes. Okay. And Mr. Rick Cohen. So congratulations for starting. You officially started now. So in the curriculum committee. Thank you so much, Heather, for the Instagram and Facebook. I got a feedback from parents that it's very helpful, and it's going to be the new era in Edison, and it's going to very important for communications. That will probably eliminate some people reaching out to us, say what happened to the bus, because the updates will be more frequent over there than an email. Thank you so much, Baninder, for the presentation of NJSLA. I have a request for you and Dr. Eldarelli, if that can be made available on the website. If we can post that for the parents to see.
And we'll also forward copies of it to the board as well. Absolutely.
Okay, awesome,
Available on the
please.
website and forward copies individually to the board. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so the parents can see that
Sure.
handily, and if we can stay there. Everyone has heard about one of the students who had a genius achievement in Edison. He's famously known as the Battery Boy. What happened is, last Saturday, he broke the Guinness World Record for largest chain of batteries, largest chain of recycled batteries. There were judges who came from the Guinness organization in Woodbrook School, and all the students organized the batteries in matter of just couple of hours, and they really broke the Guinness World Record for the largest chain of recycled batteries, which is an incredible achievement for Edison Public School student. And on top of it, I'm very proud to announce that so many Edison Middle School and elementary school and high school students participated in that process. They volunteered as a part of the process. They also got certificates they will be getting soon from Guinness organization. So they were a part of this world record. He not only broke this record, but he involved other Edison students, and they happily participated and worked hard for that. So many Edison parents participated in that. So kudos to all of them. So great job, everyone. Something like this makes us all feel very, very proud. There is, in terms of student achievement and volunteering, we speak about volunteering a lot. So I'm very happy to announce that one of the world's second largest temple outside India opened in Robbinsville, New Jersey. It's called BAPS Akshardham. So many hundreds of Edison High School and JP-C1 students and alumni have been a part of it. Pretty much all of us on the stage, many of us on the stage have visited the place. Many in the audience have visited the place. So what you see is a lot of Edison High School and JP students and alumni volunteered several hundreds of hours for that. So very proud of that achievement, and especially huge thanks to all those students who participate in that process, especially as 3-4 months. They volunteered day and night, in and out, until yesterday. So kudos to all of them. That's a huge achievement, and it's incredible achievement by volunteering. So great job, everyone. We have a lot of festivals coming. I see Vishal Patel is dressed for the occasion, for Navaratri going on right now. It's a festival for 9 days. And we'll have Diwali coming soon before the next board meeting. So everyone happy Dashera, happy Diwali. More fun is the New Jersey School Board Association. So nobody should bother Mr. John Toth and Moin Patel during Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week, because they're going to be busy with that. Others are too, but they're going to be more busy. So that's a fun, and it's a lot of learning in that convention. It's more about learning, and we meet a lot of other board members from different districts. So we will learn a thing or two from them and make sure that Edison stays the best. It's still the best among the largest school district, and we want to keep it that way. We want to keep the best. And then there's teachers convention and the fall break. So everyone who is attending that, so looking forward to that. And that's all I have. Everyone have a wonderful rest of the month. Thank you.
That's it.
Shannon? Shannon?
Yeah, Mrs. White. Sorry.
I'll be quick, I promised. I just want to clarify that I voted yes for J.P. Stevens because the school is in dire straits and it needs everything that we can do for it. I just hope that we consider union labor in the future. And while I'm at it, I do want to say that I did attend the Chamber of Commerce dinner, and they honored 38 of our educators, support staff, nurses. You know, it was just a beautiful, beautiful night, and they also gave a tribute to Andy DiNicola again. It was just a wonderful night. I know some of you were there. I saw you. And lastly, J.P. Stevens had their band competition, and it was just beautiful. I swear the band parents for all of those groups deserve an award. Mr. Shee was there as well. And, you know, it was a beautiful thing to, you know, participate in. Joyce Shipp was there, too. It was, you know, just a really, really nice night. And that's all for me. Thank you very, very much. And thank you, Mr. Shee, for getting it done.
Shannon?
Yeah, Mr.
Can I go?
Michelle. Oh, you
Yep.
have comments? Yes,
Yep.
please.
Well, I want to wish you all a joyful Navratri, as Mr. Biral Patel said. Navratri, which translates into 9 nights. It's a festival that spans over the 9 nights, and today is the third night of that. It signifies the win of good over evil, and it celebrates divine power of feminine energy. In the part of the India where I grew up, it is celebrated with the traditional Gujarati dance called Garba. So people come together dressed in a traditional Garba costume like the one I'm wearing to dance and celebrate. So happy Navratri. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mohin Patel.
Thank you. I want to thank all the presenters tonight along with all the students, parents, and teachers for working together and getting it done for our students and putting our students first. And you can see the results with our scores that you see. They are above the state standards, so kudos to all of you guys who work together to put our students first. Thank you. The other thing I want to talk about is, I want to thank all the board members that voted tonight to move forward the project that is in dire needs, which is J.P. Stevens overcrowding. So I'm glad we started with the process. I'm glad we're putting our student unions first and making sure that we are getting the things that our students need and not playing all the other political games in terms of preventing that from happening. So I want to thank all the board members that voted today yes to putting the JP project and all our other projects forward too. Thank you. That's it for now. If anything else pops in my brain, which normally does, I will comment on it too.
Thank you. Mr. Brian Rivera.
Thank you. Eddie, I just have an ask.
Sure.
With all the presentations that were conducted today, are they going to be posted for the public?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, 100%, and I'll make them available to the board
Because to be
personally.
honest with you, it was kind of difficult to follow and see.
A lot of information, so 100% we'll make them available on the website. We'll make sure that information is given to the board so they can further digest it. Any of those questions, feel free to reach out.
I also want to congratulate Dr. Huss.
Thank you.
I hope he stays longer and assists you, because You know, he's gone already, but I do
That-
want to wish him
I believe,
well.
I believe he's in the restroom right now. He might have to be making some phone calls.
Yes.
Okay,
as well.
all right. Well, I do
He
want to wish
started
him
working
well.
already.
Yeah, might be making some,
phone
might be making some phone calls currently right now.
And
so,
finally, my other comments I will keep in private session.
Thank you.
Yeah. Doctor, I just have one question. There was a time that parents were talking about getting fans in our schools. I believe they might send you an email about this.
Yeah.
Any
yeah.
updates on that?
Yeah, I think there was a couple schools. I want to say it was the high school or maybe a middle school. I forget off the top of my head, but listen, the support of our community is always fantastic, and I believe that that effort was to make sure that during the hot months, maybe some of the classrooms that either didn't have working fans or needed additional fans, our PTOs. Always do go above and beyond and wanted to chip in and provide some of those schools with fans. But what we did was we touched base with building principals at that time. Any classroom that requires a fan or anything else along those lines, feel free to reach out to us. I'm sure that that's something that would be received with board support to make sure that the few classrooms that we need or the ones that are broken, we would follow up with Mr. Colibus. But without a doubt, we'll be able to make sure that we provide those. And we know that PTOs, their main job is for fundraising for those individual schools, but that's also a district-wide piece. So I think, any other building principals that would need that, they always do a great job of reaching out to me with that. But for those pieces, I'm more than confident that we can provide that service to them.
Okay, thank
Great.
you.
Thanks.
Madam President?
Yeah, Mr. Shi?
Yeah, can I just add something? So today, if you actually look at our finance resolution, there is a budget calendar. Normally, we don't have to approve the budget calendar. That's, fall into the BA and his team. So the reason we put this budget calendar on the agenda is to make everyone aware the budget process. And, you touched on the request for fan. We're asking the building principals to please submit what you need to our facility director, and we'll go through the process of prioritize all these stuff. That's why the reason the calendar is here. I hope that we adhere to the calendar and submit all the things that you need, and let's prioritize. I appreciate all the work from the PTAs and then PTOs try to get fans for the schools. Just like Dr. already said, we have the funds, just submit the request and we'll prioritize it, okay? I just want to make another statement because it was mentioned a couple times about the PLA, Project Labor Agreement. So, project labor agreement is for contract with union and stuff. So I saw they have a truck parked outside today. So last month, I received an email from my colleague, Mr. Schneider, on Sunday. On Monday is the last day to amend the JP project spec to include PLA agreement in there. Okay, 4 o'clock on Monday, I received an email on Sunday afternoon. Okay, something as complicated as a PLA needs a full board discussion. In order to have an emergency meeting for the full board to discuss it, it needs 48 hours notice. We all know that. So, I'm pretty sure, the board members are all aware of this. So I made the comment at the last meeting, we welcome the unions to participate in our projects, especially the local unions. But the last second request and accusing me, Jerry Shi, of not moving this POA forward is totally false. There was no agreement presented to the committee. There was nothing presented to the committee. There's nothing to reject by the committee. In my meeting minutes, I actually said It's a complicated issue. We need more time to study it. The whole board needs to weigh in on it. So, unfortunately, we need to move these projects forward, right? So that's my comment. I'm not gonna talk any more details, but if other audience or board members have, want to talk more, I have more to say. But, let's just, last minute request, and you didn't even call me.
That's fine.
Okay?
Board President?
All right, so let me finish.
Okay.
Okay? So, this, accusing me of not putting, it's totally lie. You were not even there at the meeting. The stuff that presented to us from our attorney was a basic introduction about the POA. We need to know more. So, I'm gonna stop here, and if you're gonna say, I'm gonna respond to it.
Mr. Schneider?
Thank you, Board
want to
President.
comment?
I wasn't going to say anything, Jerry.
The other people are saying it.
Who?
Other board members.
Oh, well, I said that I'm in favor of a PLA. I said that in writing, and I said it at the last meeting and this meeting. The reality is that there was a request to our board attorney in May to study the PLA. There was, in May, in June, July, there was many hours billed from our attorney to this board that we paid for, that specifically, line item by line item, says it's a study of the proposed PLA agreement. And that's throughout the summer. So to claim that you didn't know this until Sunday, when you're the chair of the Facilities and Finance Committee, I think that $25 million project, with the exception of John Marshall, which is what you're proposing for this next phase, is one of the largest spends in Edison Township history, right? I mean, I can't think of many projects that are bigger than this J.P. Stevens expansion. In fact, before I was on this board, you proposed, I sat here in this auditorium and I watched DMR do a $60, $70, $80, $90 million proposal for just J.P. Stevens. And we've successfully, over the last year, spread that money around so each and every student in this district sees renovation. We've been able to, we purposely, you and I sat down with Dr. Bragan and we purposely touched every student by using these multi-purpose rooms in the middle schools.
Had nothing to do with you.
You were with me. What do you mean you had nothing to do with it? You were with me with Dr. Bragan. We developed this entire plan, and it was just a month or two after you presented in public. That was in our November meeting 2021. You presented the DMR project, which was the entirety of this money. It was like, the three choices in budget were 60, 70, and 90 or something, if I remember right. So I wasn't going to say anything, but to say that you just learned about a PLA on Sunday when you did talk about it with the committee the week before,
I said in my committee
and
reports.
we paid our attorney to study a PLA. So why do we pay our attorney to study a PLA and write a memo about it if you're going to pretend you never knew about it?
It's not pretending. It was the first time brought to the committee.
committee
Was there ever brought to the committee of the POA?
The committee wasn't Monday. The committee was the week before.
Well, why did you wait until Sunday to send me that? No, you know we need 48 hours for the
Because you talked about it at the committee meeting and you didn't want to do it.
All right.
No.
Okay.
So if you don't want to
That's
do a
not
PLA,
true.
just be honest.
That is not true.
We have nurses on strike. We have thousands of union members that work for us. You paint me as a pro-union guy. Well, guess what? I'll own that. I agree. We should use union labor, but we have to be fiscally responsible. I'm not saying to give the whole project to union, but you get these numbers and everybody's bidding with no union. So don't be surprised there's a truck outside.
That's fine.
I was sitting here in
Let them put a rat
silence. I didn't
outside,
say
let
anything,
them put a
Jerry.
truck outside, let them put whatever they want outside. I don't care.
I
My
have the
students
floor.
will come first.
Board President, is
Okay,
this fair?
let's one at a time.
Thank you, Board President. The whole point here, Jerry, is that when we talk, we have to be honest with the public. We paid our attorney to study the PLA all summer. If you're saying that the first time you learned about it was Sunday when I emailed you, it's not truthful.
I said the meeting. It's in my meeting summary, the POA. That was before your memo to me. You didn't even call me. You sent me an email on Sunday expecting me to do something, and with whole thing that needs a board approval for 48 hour minimum discussion. Okay, so you were the board president last year. You have a super majority on the board. You did not even bring PLA last year. For 9 months. No, wait.
We
I
didn't
have
put
the
out
floor.
any bids. We just did
Wait. I have the floor. For 9 months this year, we bid about $70 million projects. The PIA was never brought up. He was studying for it. I didn't even know it. That was first time brought to the board meeting, the committee meeting, is the meeting, the weeks that you sent that memo.
Jerry, you're an
Okay.
expert on busing, you're an expert on curriculum, you're an expert on everything except PLAs.
I am not an
It's
expert
crazy.
on anything.
I can't believe that's the one thing you don't know
I'm not
about.
an expert on anything. I'm not expert. If you're expert on the PLA,
PLAs, yeah.
why don't you bring it up last year?
100%.
Why didn't you bring it up last year?
I was sitting here in
did you-
silence, Jerry.
No,
It's
why
fine.
did you bring up from January to September? We had a $70 million projects. $70 million dollar projects. We all bid it. Not a single word from any one of you guys.
Thank you.
Why? It happens right before election time.
That's exactly what
It's
it is.
right before election time. Okay?
Politics.
If it's not politics, then what it is?
Yeah, all
We
politics
are
always
here.
before students.
We are here for the students and for the taxpayers. We're not here to play politics. Okay? We can consider the PIA with the projects moving forward.
Thank you.
Okay? But accusing me individually, one vote of not pushing PLA forward, that's totally wrong.
Can I have the floor? I have a question.
Mr. Rivera?
Because I know I spoke to Jonathan and Eddie about this. I know I'm going to put you on the spot. Was there any discussion in the committee regarding the PLA? Because I know we had a conversation. I know I had a conversation with you. I know I had a couple of conversations with a couple of people. So in these meetings, was there any discussion
You don't have
regarding
to.
PLA?
We have finance and facility meeting members here, all four of
It's
them.
the superintendent of schools.
Yeah.
So I don't ask the superintendent of school, or do I have to ask the operations guy? I don't get it.
No, you can ask the finance facility committee where.
No, they
whether
run,
heard about this
we
or not.
are about policy. He runs the district. My question is, I'm sick and tired of directing my questions to board members.
Yep.
I want to talk to my leadership.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Are we talking about the finance and facilities meeting during that time frame?
Correct. Was there any discussion about putting a
Before
PLA?
that Thursday.
I believe we presented the legal guidance on that.
Correct.
During that
We
meeting.
held
at
So
this
there
time.
was a discussion.
Yes.
Before that Thursday? He was talking about before the last finance
At all?
facility
Was there any
meeting.
discussion when we were putting this out to bid regarding a PLA?
Regarding a PLA, when we put it out to bid after the finance and facilities meeting?
At any time? I don't.
It doesn't matter. What happens is
I'm
with that
asking a
PLA,
question.
with that
Why-
PLA,
Mr.
you're going to delay
President,
the
I'm
project.
speaking to
At
the
the last minute, you want to
superintendent,
throw a
and I can't
bomb
even
and
get an
just
answer.
made it explode. That's not right.
You know it's not right. It's not true.
No, I'm asking.
Let's
The cheerleaders are here from the township? Thank
I
you.
just want to ask, answer Dr. Schneider.
Yeah, not prior. to-
No, you want to say
No,
that?
no, no, sorry.
You know what? I don't want to put you
Before
guys in
the-
a spot, but I know what was.
No.
I've had conversations, and I'm going to leave it at that.
I'm going to answer that, and I believe we have finance facility meeting, all the committee members here. I believe before the Thursday, last Thursday was late September.
September 13th was the
Yeah.
finance facility meeting. It's in my meeting
Before
summary.
that, I've never heard about PLA. I don't believe any committee members heard about it, so that's answering Mr. Schneider's question also. And I was just happened to sitting on the meeting because someone couldn't make it, and that was my first time hearing about it. And I'm the board president. Over the 9 months when we have all these projects going on, I've never heard about PLA. I've never heard about this word. So that answers your question. And I just have, a question. I just don't understand why we are voting on abstain on this. We know how overcrowded JP Stevens is. And we finally have everything ready to get going. We have it all approved at the state. We are going to have 28 classroom starting. We're going to have new science wings, tennis court, auditorium. Everything is ready to go. And we have now, the fact of the matter is we have board members trying to delay this process or prolong the suffering of our students and staff members. We all hear them crying for overcrowding problem for this long, and now we are discussing this
Board
for
President?
what?
Board
And
President. Board
abstaining.
President?
I haven't finished yet.
We didn't bring it up.
Abstaining, I don't understand what abstaining means. You're either for it or you're not for it. It's an expansion program. the only reason I can think of is, if you vote yes, you're going to lose the union support. If you vote no, it's not going to be fair for the students and the parents and the staff members.
100%.
So you just
Board-
give up
Board
the
President.
right to stand up for the students and parents.
Exactly.
Board
Put the
President,
students
can I have
first.
the floor, please?
Yeah.
Last year, you didn't attend my committee the whole meetings. If you did, you could go
Because
and watch them. You could
let
go.
me see it.
It's my floor.
Because
It's my
in the
floor.
very beginning of
It's-
last year,
it's-
I told you, I sent an email, I said I could not, there's only one day, one time I could not make that meeting. That was Monday. And guess what? The meeting was arranged on Monday.
So,
it on
Board
purpose,
President,
of
in
course.
those meetings, the first thing we decided was that the priority was JP Stevens expansion. It is now November. Those meetings, you broke ground on every project except JP Stevens. In
For
fact,
6
you're having a
months, you sat
groundbreaking
on
next
your
week.
butt on it. 6 months you sat on
No,
it.
I
Yes, you didn't
actually,
do anything
no.
about it. The problem is, the people that were working on the project the first year, you took off the committee. You had nobody else on there. You put all your people in there, and guess what?
Actually,
you didn't do
Jerry,
nothing.
Jerry was on the committee
You
with
didn't
me.
do nothing about it.
Jerry was on
Okay,
the
6
I
months
think
for
we're
nothing.
done with this. Any
were the
other
chair.
questions? Any other comments on this?
Was sitting
I
here
think-
quietly. It's fine.
But,
All right.
but other people are making comments about it. It started from you.
And
last month.
just remember, we have 3 abstaining votes on this JP Stevens expansion. I think we all should remember that.
It passed.
Who?
It did pass.
Thank
Yes,
God it
luckily
passed.
it did get passed.
Thank God we finally
have-
started putting our students first instead of your politics. Every single time, you delayed the progress of our students. This is the time, finally, we got it done. Thank you, Jerry, for putting that forward and making sure that we got our students first.
Just for the record, the JP Stevens design submission was done this year, 2023.
Thank
All
you.
these other projects was submitted last year.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Gymnasiums over classrooms. Last year, what happened to your PLA then?
Okay. That's that. Let's continue our regular meeting. We have
Motion to close?
no, we have a motion to open.
It's a bunch
No.
of cheerleaders anyway.
We have public comments time right now. Anybody? Ms. Freeman.
Joyce Ship Freeman, 41 Main Street. Listen, at first, I'm gonna start off with this. I don't mind if y'all go back and forth up there, but I want to tell the people in the audience, it annoys me when you scream back at the people. Thank you. You know, you gotta, regardless, you'll get your opportunity to talk. This screaming back and forth is too much for me. I like a little bit of decorum with that. You know what I mean? And I know you guys want to debate about stuff, and I know Edison is the big town for politics and craziness. We love it, you know. That's what we thrive for that on the newspaper and everything. And on the second note, I want to tell everybody, it was beautiful. I went to the band competition, and I mean, it was excellent. You couldn't do any better. Edison always shines and shines, and, you know, and I try to tell more people need to come out to these things. They need to come out when they do plus things. And also, when I had the jazz program, Mr. Dean Lacola was there, and we had a J.P. Stevens alumni jazz band, which was outstanding. If you look at Channel 15, you will see how beautiful the whole program was. And what I liked about it completely was that his former students made sure they gave him accolades while he sat in the audience during the program. So I thought that was good, and I thought that was great, and I even told him a 50-year testament to you keeping Edison way on top with our music program. So that's why I want to put everybody on a positive note. Everybody smile, let's all get along. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Oh, Matt.
Good evening, Matt Revnak, Vice President of ETA. I just want to make a few things. First of all, tomorrow, if you're not doing anything, you want to buy some clothes, Christmas presents, early Christmas presents, whatever, ETA is running at Boscov's. It's $5. You buy a little piece of paper or whatever, and you get discounts through Boscov's. The money raised for that goes to scholarships for our students over at J.P. Stevens and Edison High School. So come out, find Miss Campione, she'll be there. She'll be glad to sell you the form that you need, and you'll save a lot of money, 25% off on most things at Boscov's. Second thing, this Sunday, we have our annual ETEA Trunk or Treat over at Menlo Park School from 12 to 3. Everyone in the community obviously is invited. Right now, I know we have, I believe, 30 cars committed. We also have police, fire. There'll be 2 service dogs. We have stations where students will be reading books to the children. So it's a great day. We have a DJ coming. Hopefully we'll have great weather for it. So I invite the board members as well as obviously the entire community to our annual event. Third thing I was going to mention, Ms. White actually brought it up, was about the wonderful event last week. Thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for doing that every year. I do want to mention one other thing, though. And, you hit on everything from the recognition of the teachers, Mr. Nicola. But very touching was the one gentleman who lost his daughter.
Yes.
And, it's ironic that we happen to lose one of my childhood, or younger person, I wasn't a child, but, Suzanne Summers just passing away from breast cancer, for example. And how important it is. Whenever there's tragedies and things, it becomes an awareness. And then it goes by the wayside. It's important, I don't care what age you are, to get, your annual physicals done, to maintain your health. Go see the doctor. I know Mr. Shi mentioned about with the policy about the 3 days, about not necessarily going to a doctor. But if your child is feeling ill, something out of the ordinary, don't take any chances.
Agreed.
Most things, or many things, if you nip it in the bud, it's curable, or at least maintainable. So it's important to do those things. And yeah, it may cost a little money to go to the doctor or whatever, but it can save your child's life, it can save your life. I've done that for years. Colon cancer, for example, is one in my family. I have my colonoscopy next month set up to go because it's important. And we know people that, I have a cousin from Edison actually, 30 years later after she was diagnosed with colon cancer, is still doing very well. So, make sure you do those things. The final thing I want to comment on, being a teacher at J.P. Stevens of 35 years in the math department, most of which has been teaching AP classes. I come here and I hear, and there seems to be 1,200 kids at J.P. Stevens, for example, taking AP tests. And it seems like we're pushing more and more. Going back a number of years ago, we implemented things like no homework days, no homework weekends, because the kids are under such stress. All right, and we continue. In fact, this weekend's a no homework weekend at J.P. Stevens. I'm not against it. In fact, I'm one of the ones that said, let's do it on a weekend, give them the whole weekend off. To me, weekend's family time. However, there's more and more stress. I know from teaching these kids for you need a balance. Yes. The kids need a balance. Over the last few years, we've also talked about the social emotional learning aspect and to keep pushing more and more on the kids. So again, I hope the parents consider that at home as well. Some of this is coming from mom and dad. I know I live with parents that pushed me, but it's social, emotional, health-wise. I also have, a family member that had an eating disorder because of stress. And that's not as, it's more predominant than you think in our young people. It's one of the things I learned going through it with the family member and taking care of her is that there's more and more people that do have things like that because of stress. So whether it be, physical with stress, psychological, mental, whatever you want to call it, it's important, yes, the kids need to be pushed, and I'll be the first one. I'm all for giving kids opportunities. I'm all for setting a goal for them to strive for. That's what we're here for. But don't overburden them. Okay, we need them to be healthy in other ways as well. Thank you. Have a great night.
Board President, can I just make I want to just say thank you, Matt, for bringing up that point about mental health issues for our kids and making sure that they are happier, not just all about grades, because they put the stress on themselves. The parents have to realize, I see all these WhatsApp groups, they're talking about who's the AP teacher, who's this teacher, who's that teacher. I want to just make a comment to the parents. Please look out for your kids' mental health first before you go out and just pushing them about a test grade. It's an A+ or a B-. It doesn't matter. If your kid is unhealthy because the stress is out there, they're putting enough stress on themselves, by the way. I talk to a lot of these students. They're actually talking to each other and stressing themselves out about grades. You don't need to do it. The parents just need to make sure the kids are more healthier. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So
Oh,
to
Biro Patel?
Matt's response, yes. So similar to what in conjunction with what Moin said. So when we approach the community and talk with the parents, when they see a board member, most common issues that come up, school rankings, we address that at length. Then they talk about the bus issues, we address that, and it's never-ending thing. We'll continue addressing it. The administration will continue addressing it. Overcrowding. Thank God we voted on J.B. Stevens expansion today. So in future, after a couple of years, so now we can give that answer to students that, you know what, we are building J.P. Stevens, we're expanding, we're adding rooms at Woodrow, we are adding at Herbert Hoover and other schools. The fourth thing that comes up after that is AP courses. So I'm glad you said that about the peer pressure that the students face and all the parents that tell the students about AP courses and reach out for AP courses. But that being said, we spoke at the curriculum committee too. If there is a room and if there is opportunities, we want to provide all the opportunities to our students. If there is absolutely a possibility, and if there is a space issue, then we don't want to have that as a bottleneck for AP courses. So we want to address those too. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Avi Jindal, and address is 14 Yardley, Addison. So I came last month also in the public meeting. I have two things to discuss. My subscription bus issue has not been resolved, and I thought you guys are expanding a subscription bus program, but it did not change any of my conditions. You guys offered one solution, which is picking a bus from 0.75 to 0.8 miles. That's not practical. There is no side path, and it's not practical. If I have to drop my kids to 0.8 miles, I can drop to 2 miles also. So it was a fault on the Addison Education Board side that you guys did a wrong listing of the streets. And I'm really surprised that after I'm sending an email since July and nothing has been done. There is no, you guys opened you opened this program again on October 3rd, but I was hoping that you guys will at least expand, maybe add new bus stops. If you guys are offering a bus which is 0.8 miles, maybe ask them to add one more stop. It's just a grid. If you guys will add one more stop, that might fix the issue. So please do something. I sent so many emails to the board members. I'm really surprised that you guys didn't do anything. I think what you guys need to do is take all the issues what you have and make a spreadsheet and do something that, okay, for these 10 problems we found this solution, for this thing we found this solution. I'm not getting anything. Unless until I send 20 emails, I don't get any response. So that's one thing which I wanted to discuss. Second thing I wanted to discuss, the way the education that nowadays in the middle school, the homework which the students are getting, 95% of those homeworks are related to PowerPoints. Create a PowerPoint to solve a variable, and they have to come up with different kind of a graphics. I think the gist of the math is getting lost. The kids are spending more and more time to beautify the PowerPoints. I think we are moving away from the real education. Most of the education is now, I think 95% of the exercises or homework is related to PowerPoints. I think we need to do something. PowerPoints are, maybe it makes sense to have 30 or 40% PowerPoints, But the real education, especially in the math, if you have to find a variable, if you need to solve something, it should be given as a worksheet, not as a PowerPoint, because the kids, they don't understand. They spend more time in picking a picture, have a background, change this color, change that color. I think they're wasting so much of our time. I think it's not right, and I hope you guys will do something. So thank you.
Thank you. Beth, Ms. Maroney.
Beth Maroney, Somerset. I came to Edison in 1988 as a teacher of English at J.P. Stevens High School, and in 2003 became the vice principal at J.P. Stevens High School, and then Woodrow Wilson Middle School, and then principal of the 2 preschools in Edison. And just when I thought I had retired, I got elected to the Board of Education in 2014 and stayed for 7 years. So I've graduated recently. But what I want to say, I remember a few years ago, and Jerry, I'm sure you remember, when we started the task force to start talking about the expansion of the schools, which was needed desperately. And we worked on that for a while. In my heart, I knew it wasn't going to work because there were too many cooks spoiling the broth. There were just too many opinions, and it was extremely stressful. It wasn't working. Although the architects came up with some beautiful plans that we were all very excited about. You know, we put up the referendum, and of course, referendums in Edison are not usually very popular. So what I want to say to all of you tonight, despite the discord, and that's typical, as we all know, the one thing that I congratulate you on, and where you're really holding your feet to the fire, is that you are accommodating the children of Edison now by these phenomenal expansions, and I hope that this ends our overcrowding problem for once and for all. You are to be thanked and congratulated for finally coming through for the kids here, so thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. Really appreciate it. Anybody else? Oh, Charlie, Mr. Ross.
Oh, boy.
We need your DNA.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much. Always great to see people at the home of the Eagles. I just wanted to say I appreciate the Mr. Toth, Carteret's finest, Mr. Colderwas, Dr. Aldarelli, everybody else, the central office and the board, working on additions not only for the home of the Hawks, but also here for the home of the Eagles and all of our schools in Edison. So it means a lot, so much for the kids, and also for allowing our students to speak every time at a board meeting. Now, the best thing is, behind our esteemed superintendent and our board president today, we have the beginnings of our set, because next week at this time, we're going to have our Edison Theater Drama Club, which is going to present the play Clue. Now, there's going to be one show Friday night, October 27th at 7 p.m. You can see it right behind Dr. Aldarelli. And there's 2 shows on Saturday. No reason you can't come to all of them. That's October 28th at 2 and 7. And we're looking forward to the day before. We've got a game against Piscataway if you want to come out. And we got St. Thomas Aquinas this Friday. So that's pretty much adding on to the things that our Student Council President Charvy brought up today. Just wanted to say thanks for planning these additions, and come out and see the play next Friday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ross.
Anything else? Oh, Mr. Fagan, this is, any other first-timers?
Good evening, Board of Education. Nick Fagan, 42 Edgewood. I come to you with some disturbing things that I think I've discovered, and I'm finding them troubling. And I would like you to comment on them and set me straight on the record.
Mr. Fagan, if you are here to talk about election, this is really not the forum.
Yes, it's not
Well,
the
this
forum
is,
for
we're here
politicizing.
to hear parents' concern. and talk about the bus. I'm sorry. Yeah, you could speak. I'm just reminding him, and you in the back should wait for your turn. Okay.
So, tell him out. Send him out.
Escort him out, please. He's just disturbing our
He
meeting
can
right
stay,
now.
but I think you are just making a joke of yourself.
He is a joke.
And we always see you here, right before elections, so
Yeah,
we're not
same thing.
surprised.
Board President, I ask.
So just so you know, this is not the forum. I think we're here to talk about students and parents' concern, and we have talked about the bus, we have talked about the transportation. This is not the forum to talk about elections, so I hope you
Board
would understand
President,
that.
Thank you, but you don't
Thank you.
control what the public gets to talk about when public comment time comes.
I'm not trying to control, I'm just reminding, and
Sure, you
You're
can
here to play
remind me as
politics,
much
and
as
I
you
will shut it
want,
down if.
and I will have my time.
Let Joe say. Let Joe say.
Motion to close public session, please.
no. You can speak, but
Is there a second to the motion?
you can speak now.
There's no
Tony,
second to the
please,
motion.
it's not your turn.
Board President, I come and I stand before you, and I received in the mail, in the United States mail, a poster or a card for the Edison Students First Team, Column 2, Mr. Lugo, Mr. Shi, and Ms. Patel. And it says that it was paid for by Equity for New Jersey Political Action Committee. Now, I didn't know who that was, and I received this on, I think, September 27th. It was a Friday. So I received that, and I didn't know who that was, what that PAC was. And so I said, well, there's places to look for that. And I looked on the ELEC website, which is the New Jersey ELEC, where political action committees are there registered, and I couldn't find anything. I found that strange. So then I went to the registration. I went to the State of New Jersey, Department of the Treasury, Division of Revenue and Enterprise Services, and I looked for and I ordered the long form standing with officers and directors of the company Equity for New Jersey PAC, Inc. And what I discovered when I pulled that document from the state, and the state sent it to me instantly, I found that that PAC was registered by a gentleman named Matthew C. Mensch at 51 Gibraltar Drive, Suite 2F in Morris Plains, New Jersey. And this document was registered 2 days before I got this mailer. It was registered on the 27th, which is the Wednesday before. I believe Mr. Mensch is up there on the stage and is the mayor of Bridgewater and is the board attorney. And so I would like for someone, the board attorney, the candidates in the column 2, to comment on why the board attorney has registered a PAC in support of column 2. It seems at best a play-to-pay scenario. And it seems unseemly, and it seems pretty serious, and it doesn't seem like the way I would want things to run in Edison.
Seriously? Seriously? You are the one
Done
who's
with your
talking.
questions? Are you done with your questions?
Yes, is anybody going to respond?
Yes, we want.
Yeah, Mr. Mensch is right here, so he's going to respond, and I just want to, yeah.
I say, Board President, if I could just respond very briefly. Thank you for bringing that up. Unfortunately, my firm does a lot of work. We do our best to avoid any, not just actual conflicts, but appearances of conflicts. Unfortunately, on this one, we didn't realize that the PAC that we were asked to incorporate was going to be sending out as part of its activities, was going to be sending out mail in Edison. Unfortunately, I found out probably about the same time you did. We no longer have any involvement with that organization. So that's really all there is to it. But thank you for bringing it up and making an opportunity for me to explain it. I've discussed it with the board as well.
Yeah. And
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. DePascal.
It's on the same topic. You could just say the answer is already.
Tony Pasquale, 2 Pine Street. The first thing I wanted to address was I'm a little confused why a board member asks Mr. Toth and Mr. Aldarelli, 2 of the leaders in our district, a question, and other board members seem to deflect them from answering the question. Now, from what I understand, the board collectively are the ones in charge of the leadership in the school district. And when a board member asks a question to somebody that they are over, that there should be responses from them. And it doesn't matter if they were at the committee meeting from what I'm hearing, which they should be. So I'd like to know, number one, why, Ms. Peng, you allowed deflection from allowing our leaders from answering a question from the board, other than you don't want the real answer, which means you are hiding something. Well, then give me an answer when I'm done why you would not allow them. Now, I know Mr. Toth, Mr. Aldarelli, they're great, upstanding people. They just were ready to answer, but you stopped them from answering. And I think the public should know why you stopped them from answering a question, a valid question from a board member, a simple question. Did you discuss this topic at meetings? Yes or no would have been fine to hear from them. But you decide to allow deflections. What does that allow the public to think? Oh, that's no big deal. It's no big deal at all. No, it looks like you're hiding something. If you're not, then let them give an answer. If you don't let them answer it, then unfortunately, the board president of our great district is hiding something from the public. So I can't wait for you to answer that, even if you do or not. But unfortunately, I'm just ignoring you because you're annoying anyway.
I'm ignoring you too, so don't worry about
so
it. It's mutual.
Unfortunately, these 2 great gentlemen here who do fine work in this district, you are putting, unfortunately, a stain on them because you're deflecting them from giving answers. So I'm going to apologize to Mr. Toth, Mr. Aldarelli, for you for doing that to
You
them.
don't have that right to apologize
I
for me.
do have a right. I will apologize.
That's just ridiculous.
Well, then you answer it.
I will answer
Well,
you.
okay, great.
Are you done with your
No,
question?
I'm not done yet. I still have 3 minutes.
Okay, continue with
And
your 3 minutes.
I will.
This is your camera time. I understand. Use it.
Are you done? It's not supposed to be back and forth, I thought,
Yeah,
right?
Phony.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
speak? Can I speak now?
Keep going, Phony.
I urge you to use your camera time.
Okay, fine. Whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Okay, because I caught you on something, and that's what it's about. And what Mr. Fagan just brought up, does that not shock anybody? Like,
Not a bit.
I was told that, Mr. Fagan said that the lawyer opened up this PAC, but he's saying, well, I didn't know what the PAC was going to do. Like, I'd like to have some clarification on that. Like, you're in charge of something, but you don't know what your PAC is doing. And there's no connection here that Mr. Shi is on the board, running for election, and the lawyer, his PAC, he maybe didn't, I guess, no, he would have done it personally, but the PAC that he opened up, he's in charge of, has no idea who he's campaigning for. You have no problem with that. There's no questions in your mind that there is an issue, a possible conflict, and you have no problem with that. I guess there's no issues at all that bothers you guys, no matter if it's good, right, wrong. It doesn't really matter.
Not at all. When it
I
comes to
know
you, it doesn't matter. Because when you
can
come,
I, okay,
it's
can you
all
stop
phony.
the clock
Oh,
while
no,
he's talking?
don't interrupt
Can
his
you
camera
stop the
time,
clock while
please.
he's talking? You know I'm right. You wanted to close public
Never right.
session.
You're never right.
You wanted to close public
Never
session
right.
because
You're
you
never
didn't
right,
want.
you're all phony. This is what you are. All phony.
This is illegal that he is stopping my time.
You have your time.
Right, he's interrupting
Continue.
it.
Okay,
He's
he
interrupting
interrupt
it.
you
You're
for
allowing it.
10 seconds. I'm going to give
Thank
you
you.
extra 10 seconds.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Patel, Mohan Patel, wanted to close public session
Because you're coming to politics.
because he did not want to hear what Mr. Fagan had to say. So again, two things just happened in this board meeting. You hindered our leadership from allowing the public to hear an answer from them. Number two, one of your board members was trying to close public session because he did not want something to come out in public.
Not at all.
Because
Just
you
the
are
hot
all
air that comes
about-
out from your mouth all the time. That's what I wanted to stop.
You're-
Because
you're-
our
you're-
parents deserve better
okay,
than you.
I'm going to talk 20 more seconds now.
Yeah.
Okay? So you are allowing things to be hidden, and you have no problem with that, which is a shame for our Board of Education president to not have a problem with either one of these issues. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, okay. You didn't use your 10 seconds. To answer your first question, I'm not hiding anything. I'm just simply saying the committee member can also answer that question. I did not disallow Dr. Elliott or Mr. Toth to answer that question. I don't have a right to stop them from answering that question. Just so you know, and they did answer that question. Maybe you missed that part, but if you go back and watch the video, you can see they answered the question. So that's that first question. As for your second question, if you really think there's anything illegal here, I believe our attorney has already answered that question. Please go ahead and file a lawsuit. If you really think there's anything wrong, you have all the rights to go and file a lawsuit. Now it's not your time. You said you don't want to go back and forth. You are setting example doing that.
Or just throw him out.
You
Throw him out.
Don't all scream in the back.
Yeah, stop
If
going
you
back and
think
forth.
anything is wrong, go to the
Yeah,
attorney's office, as you have done.
Who do you work
Go
for, phony?
to file a
Who do you work
lawsuit.
for? Who do you work for?
I
Do you
don't
work
think-
for Sam Joshi? Is that what you do? And this is why you're coming here to play this political game? Come on, get out of here.
Okay,
Stop wasting the parents' time. Stop wasting
Your
the students'
turn.
time. Period.
Beth Talke, 15 Midwood Avenue. I'm a lifelong resident, a taxpayer. I also work for the schools. I love our schools. I appreciate all that all 9 of you do, volunteering a lot of your time to make our schools better. But what I am witnessing tonight is a horror show. All of you up there have taken an oath. You've read the bylaws. You are to be following Robert's Rules of Order. Some of you, specifically Mr. Mohan Patel, said tonight that you did not want drama. But yet I've watched you. Excuse me. I brought nothing. I brought myself here to be an active participant in our government for our schools and what is happening to our children and our staff members. It is sad to watch you there tonight say that there should be no drama here, but yet I watch you put a hard hat on your head,
Students Union.
ridicule people. Standing up there, you're an elected official.
Thank you.
People are going to have differing opinions of what you have. I've witnessed it tonight. I was hoping to watch some positive dialogue with differing opinions back and forth, but yet some of you are going after audience members when you should kind of just sit there quiet and take it in and listen to the members. Yes, you are going to have differing opinions and not agree with them, but to sit up there and to watch our public watch, our parents watch, and our students, it's shameful. Please do better. I appreciate all you do, but children are watching. You are role models for them. Please act accordingly. Thank you.
President, if I may address,
Yeah,
she brought my
Mr.
name up.
Mohim Patel.
I thank you for your comments. I will entertain any legitimate questions or concerns that come up from the parents, students, or the teachers. I will not stand for political BS coming in that comes here and just spouts all the BS all the time. I'm not going to stand for it, and it's okay. There's no back and forth, sorry.
Brett, Mr. Baker.
Brett Baker, 140 Grandview Avenue, Edison, New Jersey. By way of introduction, I'm a 15-year career educator. I graduated from Michigan State University with a 3.969 bachelor's degree in public administration and public policy. I've studied, eaten, and breathed politics for a while, and never once have I heard a board president say, I don't know what an abstention is. So I'd just like to inform the board president it's okay that an abstention is an instance of declining to vote for or against a proposal or motion. Nothing wrong with it. 2, I've heard the phrase kids over politics. I've quite never heard a board, let alone a board president, intentionally call out vote counts in particular abstentions, and that includes watching Congress, which we can all agree is a flaming pile of crap right now, and I've never seen anybody in Congress call out abstentions. So we want to talk about putting kids over politics, Moen.
Yes.
I'm a tax-paying resident, I'm a parent, I'm an educator, I love kids, I love you, I love this board, I love this district.
Love you too.
And I've heard you say kids over politics at least 3 times. And I heard you say, tap your hat all you want, Moen. It's fine. For you to shout, who do you work for?
Yes.
Good, sir. Practice what you preach, please.
Thank you.
I'd like to talk about trust, the trust I place in regards to the school rankings. My doctor informs me that my BMI is not great. My doctor informs me that I'm healthy. I choose to trust him. This is the second board meeting I've been to this academic year where people have been a little bit panicky about school rankings. And so I just want to assure folks, again, as a 15-year career educator standing in front of a lifelong career educator as well, school rankings don't tell the entire story. Here's the story of the district. Earlier this week, I think I've lost track of time, James Monroe hosted their annual Harvest Eve. 1,000+ people were present in the parking lot. It was a beautiful event. I heard through the grapevine that Mr. Romano was there, so thank you, good sir, for your attendance, if true. It was a beautiful event. I work at a local business here in Edison. I have the pleasure of working with a ton of Edison High School alums, and I get the honor of talking to them every day about the wonderful, wonderful work that Mr. Ross did for them. So keeping up my streak, I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Ross for the continued efforts he does for the students of Edison High School. I'm not leaving JP alone. I'm just acknowledging Edison High School because as a parent, that's the school that my son and my daughter will attend to. I follow social media a lot. I love our district social media presence. It's lovely. And I was thrilled to see a parent workshop introduced. I bet you all were shocked. I'm going to start with the positives, huh? List of questions I'd like to rattle off quickly with my remaining time. First, earlier today, I was unable to find the agenda online. Just curious with the new administration and leadership, what should the expectations be of agenda posting online before meetings? It wasn't posted around 1 o'clock when I looked. I can't really remember the exact time, but just want to clarify. 2, regarding 9th grade AP, through the chair to the administration, what steps will be / are being taken to ensure equitable access given the vast diversity of our district, both socioeconomically and racially? I'd like to publicly state that I'm opposed to fundamentally and practically 9th grade AP for all the mental health reasons we've stood up here and pontificated about, and yet we're going to shove 9th grade AP courses down our throats. Through the chair, Mr. Shee mentioned JP construction bid came under budget. A fantastic news. I really appreciate that. Just curious if that's base and alternates or just base. And then also heard a $35,000 and a $45,000 change order. They think it was mentioned at Hoover. I'm just curious what those were for. Again, 15-year operations later, those are massive change orders. I'm just curious what they are. Oh, where are the rest of the questions? There's a question I wrote next to who do you work for, and I wonder why I wrote that. I want to publicly give congratulations to Dr. Huss. I can only imagine his credentials back him up and trust that a massive, massive search process was underdone to complete it. I want to address intentionality, though, because since I came to the last meeting, last month, the JD was authorized, posted, and published, and this district managed to hire somebody within a month, which I think is fantastic, but just want to just name intentionality. Also, ninth grade AP seemed to be asked for last week, and last month, and I don't think it's the first time it was talked for, but to see it in a presentation today just feels like we're moving rather fast. I think transportation, a beautiful thing, round of applause to those for getting it done, but again, just a cautionary tale for moving quickly. You know, I came here wondering about this PAC 2, but we got my answer. I didn't come. For anybody who thinks I came for politics, I literally got it in the mail on September 29th and posted the question 4 hours later. Hardly any politics, but I'll accept the answer because like my BMI and like my doctor, I choose to trust until that trust is broken. With my remaining minute, it was a month ago, or a year ago exactly to this meeting, that I stood in front of this body and acknowledged the passing of a dear friend of mine. Anthony White Timmini was an educator, a coach, a partner, a brother, and a son. And to me and many others, he was a friend. With my remaining 40 seconds, I'd like this room to stay silent. The dialogue and work we impart upon daily as parents, as adults in this district, as educators, as professionals, as legal professionals, as vendors, as politicians, as we all may be, does not negate the fact that we are humans. Anthony was a human. And I've never met somebody more in my life who saw past the nonsense that I myself participate in. I will own it. But I ask on behalf of the 1,000+ people that stood in James Monroe's parking lot, on behalf of the thousands of staff members who work for this district, and the 100,000+ residents of this district, that this body makes difficult decisions daily. And if we can't find a way to get along, if we can't find a way to have just civil discourse without pointing fingers every time something comes up, if we can't find a way to not label people trolls because they ask a critical question or an important question, then just step aside. Don't take the reins if you can't drive the ship. Please, my kids are asking for it. Others' kids are asking for it, and a whole lot of other people I care about are asking for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Board President.
I just want to say, this kind of chaos usually only happens during the election time. And if I'm not against, people coming here and speak, but I want to say, if you really want to campaign for someone, please go out and knock on some doors, and you will see, I'm not talking about you, Brad.
I know, but
Yeah.
just
I just
respectfully,
want to
just
say-
to follow up what I just said, to say that negates the fact that month over month over month, this body, council body, continues to engage in politics, even when it's not election. So don't just, please, don't just, it's disrespectful to funnel it down to just, it's election season, that's why we're having arguments. No. We have arguments all along. We create divides. Find better bridges.
No,
Thank you.
you don't see these kind of arguments in the first, few meetings. It only happens now because it's election time.
Thank you.
But if you do want to campaign for someone, go on and knock on some doors. Then you will see how overcrowded JP is, how students are packed like a sardine in the gym, how classes are cut, labs are cut, and then you will see how important this JP project is. You will feel for the pain of the students and the staff members. So instead of doing cheap shots here, please go out and really help the campaign, help the students. No, I'm not. It's just to the people who came here for the campaigning. Ms. Conway.
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. I'm here for two purposes. I'm sorry I'm late. I tried to get out earlier, but I did come anyway. One thing I'm going to talk about is something very positive, and I didn't see it on the agenda, so if it's not on the agenda, I'm going to make it part of my statement. Last week, I went to the Edison Town Council meeting where there was a young lady who's a junior at J.P. Stevens who received her Gold Award through Girl Scouts. And they went through, for quite a while, the accolades of this young woman. And at that point, the mom and the family was sitting in front of me. And I said to the mom, I said, "Oh, has the Board of Ed been notified about this?" And the mom looked at me and she said no. And at that point, I took pictures of her resolution. And because it's not on the agenda, I just want to let you know, the young lady's name was Kushi Rabar. She's a junior at J.P. Stevens, and she's done fabulous items for this community and for herself. As chair of one of the scholarship programs in town, I said to the mom, "Could you write down the name of this scholarship program and make sure Kushi applies for it next year?" Because she is the typical student, and I'm saying typical because we have so many outlandish students in this district that we need to be proud of, and we need to let them know that we are proud of them. So I would like it to be known that I would have liked to have it done tonight so that it was done, but if anything, at the next meeting, and not just as one of many that are given the accolades. This young lady I was blown away with. I couldn't even go and give you the number of things that she's evolved in. So if the board or the administration could look into Kushi, I would thoroughly appreciate it, because she is what we should be very proud of. So that's number one. Number two, I'm not going in a positive direction, I'm going in a negative direction. I've been hearing at different places that people that want to be involved in this Board of Education need not have any conflicts. They shouldn't have any conflicts if they want to be on the Board of Ed. Well, you know what? Many of you know, I was on the Board of Ed for 3 years, and I had relatives that work for the Board of Ed. But you know, I had to recuse myself from certain things. But the Board of Ed encompasses so many different aspects. I was a very busy person with different meetings between finance and transportation and food service that I could not have done anymore. So I didn't feel like I was being pushed aside because I was conflicted. Well, you know, every one of you need to think, do you have a conflict? Do you have a relative that works for the Board of Ed? That's a conflict. Do you have a child that goes to the schools? That may be a conflict. Do you have friends that are contractors or business owners that you're friendly with? That's a conflict. So not one of you can turn around and say, I have no conflicts, because each and every one of you at various degrees has a conflict. Some of them may be good, some of them may not be as good, but we all do. But the reason for you to be up there is that you truly care about this district and you want it to run in a positive way. Now, I missed some of the fun that took place before I came. Well, it sounds like there must have been a conflict. Well, you know what? Was that conflict? And I don't know the particulars, but Was that conflict an impingement to our district? That I can't tell you. But never use the word conflict to any one of you up there, because you're all there for a particular purpose of making this school district positive, going in the right direction. Not, oh, I can't do this, or no, you can't do that. It's wrong. You were all elected for a positive reason, not to worry about what this one does and what that one does. Maybe sometimes you do. But conflicts do not hold a person back. A conflict just gives them a little edge to go in a different direction. And I personally can stand for that because I saw it. And I never felt that I was pushed aside because there was many things. And Ginny, Doug, you might have people that work in your district. Doug, Beryl, Mohan, Brian, Vishal, Shannon. You don't have a kid in the district.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You have children in the district. Some of you may have friends, close friends that are more than family in the district. But what is your goal? Is your goal to make the district better or to do something for yourself? That's what you need to decide. So before this election, the people of Edison need to decide who is the best that will do the most for this district. Who cares the most for this district? Who knows that they want to put their best foot forward for this district? Otherwise, walk away. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other first timer? Harish.
Good evening, everyone. Harish Thatineni, 45 McKinley Street. I actually came with 12 points, but a ton of thanks to all the committee heads for giving various updates, so the list reduced to 6. So we'll start with the most burning topic, that is the transportation. So almost everything has been clarified. Just one fine element, as they say, the devil is in the details. So the home to school distance, like this evening itself, we were having the discussion on social media. So the NJ website says measurement is made by the shortest distance along public roadways or walkways between the entrance to the student's home and the nearest public entrance of the school building. Nearest public entrance of the school building, not the school property. Now the school may be 5 acres, 6 acres. In Texas and all, it is like 20 acres. Forget about Texas, let's talk about Edison. So I bring this point because a lot of parents have complained on the social media that the distance is being measured only to the tip of the school property, which is the school road, which merges with the township road. Now, I think, well, legal is one thing, legal definition is one thing, and common sense is another thing. Of course, today in the meeting, as we noticed, common sense is also very uncommon in Edison, but that's a different thing. So, if, as a parent, I have to drop my elementary school kid at the intersection of JMP Road and New Dover, and she has to walk to JMP or all the way up to GMI, that's not reasonable. So any clarification on this would be greatly appreciated. I think as per the definition, my interpretation is that it should be towards the entrance of the school building. And I was giving a somewhat similar logic earlier before reading this, that school buildings are technically like government buildings, and for government buildings also, typically the mail and everything is delivered right at the doorstep before the security and all. So that was one thing. Going back to the union thing, I really don't understand the intricacies of PLA and all that, but at 51 years, I can definitely say that I have some bare basic minimum common sense, maturity, and wisdom. And as I have been yelling on the social media for the last 3 years, cost-effective solution, cost-effective solution. Same thing I said in the council meeting also. Neither the mayor, nor the BOE, nor the council has a pot of gold. If we had, all problems can be solved. So, and that is why we are coming up with all these creative solutions, let it be the jams traffic or the sidewalks, mandatory sidewalks at the time of home resale, and many other things. So, JP Stevens' bid, or for that matter, any projects that BOE takes up, it has to be done in a cost-effective solution. Labor union or not, I don't care. Whatever is cheap and best, not cheap in quality. After meeting the minimum, bare basic minimum quality standards, whatever is the standard bid process, let's follow that. And I'm sure there are minimum standards for both quality and wages. So if that is followed, I don't really understand what is this fuss about. Next, moving on to the policy revision. We just talked about conflicts. Yes, blood is always thicker than water, and there is a reason why they say that. So, and within the relatives also, there is clearly a hierarchy. After children are born, obviously children become the #1 priority for most parents. And so in this matter, I would like to propose a policy change that we need for the BOE members. I have gone through the policy, and I can read it out if that helps. So it's a district policy for nepotism, created on January 2011, edited on January 2011. So it's high time we update this. So it says, for the purpose of this policy, relative means an individual spouse by marriage or civil union pursuant to NJSA 37133, or domestic partner as defined in NJSA, or the individual's or spouse's parent, child, sibling, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew, all those things. I think we need to slightly tweak this policy to include spouse, or for that matter, significant other. And a couple of years back, there was this saying in Edison Board of Education that all else being equal, the qualifications being equal, we should give preference to Edison residents, minorities, and women. I'm not sure about Edison residents, because when you hire Edison residents and their relatives in any department of the township or the school system, there is always a conflict of interest. And we have been seeing that in the last few years. I don't want to take names or mention the relatives or the postings or the salaries or anything. Everybody knows that. But it's high time we need to revise this policy to make sure, if it is possible, I don't know, the legal has to ratify that, if it is possible, to have a policy that we don't even hire any relatives of anybody, let it be BOE members or council members or mayor or anything. We should have this policy. It's high time. People are just fed up with this constant stories of nepotism and who got promoted, which jobs got merged and separated, how much salary, and all those things. Thank you. I have a few more points, but maybe I'll come afterwards if there is time.
Okay, thank you. Mr. DePascal.
Tony DePasquale, Pine Street. So just a few things. Just so it is on record, because I did say it from the back that I never used the word illegal. And the board president has decided to put words in my mouth, but to keep it on record and keep it straight, the word illegal never came out of my mouth. The other thing is, through the chair, I'd like some questions I'd like to ask to Mr. Shi, and he can answer them if he wants to, but if he doesn't want to, that's fine. But Mr. Shi, I'm just curious, when these flyers came out from the PAC supporting your team, did you have any idea who was the person that was in charge of this PAC? And if you did you not see any conflict of interest at all, that it was the board lawyer, who I'm sure is a fine person, I'm not questioning that, so that's why I'm asking you, Mr. Shi. You would think that ethically, you know the ethic rules, you know that you promise to follow them every year, like all the board members do. And I question why you would not see a conflict of interest at all in this matter. Is it because you're just not concerned about it? It just doesn't matter because during election times you just do whatever you can to win? Like, if you went and stopped this from happening, I would say that's fantastic, great. It's good you did that. It was a misunderstanding. No problem. But the opposite happened. Everything went out. I'm guessing you didn't know about this until after they came out from somebody who you sit next to every once a month, twice a month. There was no discussions at all. Anybody just out of the blue is going to send out campaign stuff for you. So I'd like to know if you would like to answer that. If you knew about that, why did it have to come up at a board meeting where you could have came out with a statement saying, this is a possible conflict of interest, just wanted to let everybody know that, and then we wouldn't have this problem. There'd be no issues. There'd be, okay, great, no problem at all. But no, you chose not to do that. And I think our public should know, somebody who's running, what your ethics are on something like this. Thank you.
Board President, if I could just answer him.
Mr. Mohin Patel.
You know what? When you go around sending flyers out that says the mayor's team and the mayor's team and the county's team, imagine all the vendors and all the people that you have to pay back for this election. You're going around putting on the flyer, mayor's team. This is a nonpartisan school district. We are here for the students. Don't go around pushing all that BS onto this platform. You are here for political reasons. I'm not going to stand for it. You don't need to answer, Mr. Shi. That's what you're going to get, phony. Thank you.
I'll have Matt address this.
I just, I don't want to, I addressed the topic before. As I've already stated, unfortunately, I certainly didn't know that it was coming out in Edison. Obviously, we said we've already removed, there's no, as you guys all know, PACs are certainly something that is legal. Unfortunately, just from an optic standpoint, I would have obviously, had I realized it, I wouldn't have been participating with the client. But that matter's over, and you can't unring a bell, but we're not involved anymore, and that's pretty much all there is to it.
And again, if you think there's ethic violation, go ahead and file ethic charge.
I'm sorry, I just mentioned real quick, just for people who aren't as familiar, PACs by their very nature are not coordinated with campaigns. That's the pros and the cons of them. The pros is that, or the con is that sometimes the candidates don't know what other people are doing. If you want to do a PAC, that's why you want to do it on your own. Unfortunately, that means the candidates aren't always aware, and they're not supposed to be, and they weren't here. And unfortunately, we now have this issue, which unfortunately, like I said, my office didn't catch quick enough, and all I can do is apologize.
Thank
you. I just want to address Mr. Conway's question, the conflict of interest. Okay, I do not think the people with children in school would have conflict of interest because the children, the students, are not the employee of the district. And if you think that way, everybody who's a taxpayer would be a conflict of interest because it's their tax that this board is their tax and that comes as a school budget that this board is managing. So if that's the case, then nobody in this town do not have a conflict interest. So just this other gentleman here, I forgot your name, sorry.
Yeah, this is Avi Jindal. So just a follow-up question. Can someone respond to me, what have you done so far to improve that subscription bus issue? Yeah. And what have you done? And what are you going to do? My house is 1.8 miles, giving a solution of 0.8 miles. Take a bus, which is going to be 0.8 miles from my house, is not a practical solution. It just means you guys, no one paid attention to find a real solution. They just found a bus, or something is available. There's 2 seats available over there. You guys can take that. So can someone respond what has been done and what are you going to do more to resolve this issue?
I think that question has been answered, and if you have any further questions, please reach out maybe.
I don't think
separately.
anyone answered my question. Who answered the question?
I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think in the email that I sent to you before is that the bus that actually runs in your neighborhood, unfortunately that bus is filled currently right now. There are no seats available on the bus that's convenient, but based off of the subscription piece, what we were able to do is offer you a bus. Now listen, if the bus is unreasonable, if it's 0.6 miles or 0.7 miles, from a subscription perspective, I understand that might not be an option that you choose, but it's the only one that I can offer you currently right now. In the event a seat does open on that bus, which very well may be the case, sometimes students come and go, people might leave, move to another town, a seat opens up on the bus, you're in the roster, and you'll be offered that opportunity. But I can't offer you a bus that currently doesn't stop at the stop that you wish that it would. I just can't do that. I don't know if I'm...
The solution which you're offering is a 0.8 miles.
It's the only one I can offer you right now. I know you're upset with it, and we'll probably agree to disagree currently right now, but I can't do for you for that which I can't do for everybody else. I know what you're saying. If the bus that ran by your house was not filled, we would be having a different conversation currently right now.
Last year, there were 2 buses from that stop, McKinley and Roxy. There were 2 buses.
I can't speak about last year. I can tell you what happens this year.
Yeah, I think then whoever was working last year, they did a much, much better job. I think you guys said that that there was a wrong street indexes and all that, but I think that worked out so well that this is the only year that we are having so many problems. And Jonathan, I don't think whoever is the new transportation staff, they are doing a really a bad job. I really don't appreciate it. And all this board members, I don't think you guys are really doing a great job. You should take the issues, nothing to do with the politics. I'm having a real issues, and with you guys are talking about, we are here to discuss the issues which the kids are facing or the parents are facing. I'm having a real issue, but I don't think it has been addressed. 0.8 mile for your own son or daughter, I don't think it will be a realistic solution, Dr. Altarelli. So I really believed your word when you were able to really find a solution. Nothing has been done. 0.8 is not a practical solution.
Thank you for your comment. Is there anyone else?
Mr. Fick,
Board
this is your
President?
second time, right?
Yes, Board President.
Oh, Mr.
Yeah,
Biro Patel.
so to point that Vishal brought up earlier, so let's make sure everyone who is supposed to pay for the bus pays for the bus, because if they don't, then they are taking someone else's spot in the bus. At the same time, I just heard a comment about board members are doing a bad job. This is exactly what I was referring to in the last meeting. This is exactly what I referring to this meeting. We are getting harassing messages where you have nothing to do with it from a long time now. Late in the night, early in the morning, it impacts our lives too. We did not sign up for this. So please be considerable, respectful, and understanding. Thank you.
Board President, I have to rebut what the last speaker said in terms of the quality of transportation this year versus last year. Transportation must be a very localized issue, and at least for my local area and the residents or the families and parents of Menlo Park Elementary School, it has been 10 times better, 100 times better. And I want Mr. Toth to know, as business administrator, I am very thankful that you brought in professionals that know what the heck they're doing, because the previous year team was clueless. It was absolutely disastrous. So this year has been 100 times better. It's not perfect. There's all kinds of problems still locally, but to cast that the problem for the entire district is worse than last year, I do not believe that that is true. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Conway?
Elizabeth Conway, 20 Netherwood Circle. I forgot my monthly complaint that I'm looking through the agenda, and there were 4 committees that reported, and there's no report of it. And for the people that do not come to the meeting or watch it on the computer, but they can go into the agenda and look through that there was committee reports, there's no write-up as to what actually the minutes of those meetings were. So another month, I'm still not seeing the minutes. I don't want to see word for word, but I'd like to see what was discussed at the meetings. I do see progress on Facebook as to what's going on around town, but I would like to see what the transportation department is and what the other 3 committees were. So every month, that's going to be one of my complaints. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Baker?
Brett Baker, 140 Grandview Avenue. In the interest of time, my questions never got answered. I could ask them again, but I don't want to cheat and possibly slide in a new one. I'll respond to some of those at the close of public comment in the essence of time.
Cool.
I know you had some change order questions.
Change orders, yep.
Yep, I was notating
Expectations
them.
of agenda
Yep, I got that one.
at the close of public, cool. Ensuring equitable access for the mythical 9th grade AP courses. Close of public, cool, great. Change orders, close of public, cool, great. JP construction bid specs, base versus adults,
Got that too?
and the public, awesome. Cool, look forward.
I got the first piece.
Thank you.
Close public comments, and then we'll answer them.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to close the motion to close the public comment.
Motion.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Okay. You would answer that?
Yeah, so I can talk a little bit about the agenda currently right now. Mr. Baker, you're 100% right. This month's agenda went out very, very late. We're actually in the process of transitioning to a new platform of board docs currently right now. A little bit of a learning curve with that, but we're trying to centralize the agenda so that we can all look at it in real time. Mr. Toth, as well as myself, and the very talented Ms. Judy Cox, as well as the other people that contribute to this agenda are learning this process right now. So our goal is to make sure that it's provided in a timely fashion so that you're able to view that and digest it prior to coming up to the meetings. I think there was another point too about processes and moving pretty quickly on some of those postings of the assistant superintendent position as well as AP. I agree with you. Patience is probably not one of my virtues, unfortunately, right now. But I can tell you that your sentiments are definitely have definitely been communicated, not only on today's platform. It's definitely not the first time I heard of that, and I know that being strategic and moving full steam ahead sometimes has to have a balance of those, and that's something that I'm currently working on right now, and something that hopefully, I'm able to balance. My wife says the exact same thing too, so you're not alone. So I appreciate that. Yeah, and then I think.
Take the rest?
Yeah, go for it.
And I have a comment, if
We can answer those and then, okay, you have-
Okay, you can go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Baker, so the JP project, you got the base, all four alternates, well under budget. I think it was 23.7 total. Obviously, we went out for financing for much, much more, so that's good news. You're going to get the alternates plus the base. The other was in regards to change orders. We discussed, and you heard from the minutes from the report from Mr. Shi, there was 2 change orders at Hoover that we discussed. They're not on the agenda yet for approval because we don't have documentation yet signed off on by the architect. However, there is an issue with the soil over at Hoover. The soil that's there right now is unable to be compacted, so if you can't compact the soil, you can't build on it. So they have to remove the soil, dispose of it, bring in aggregate and new soil, and then compact it, and then have a company come in and do a soil compaction test so you can build. I know it seems expensive, but when you look at it in totality, I mean, that's the foundation of your, yeah. So you'll probably see that next month when I get the official paperwork, but we did have that conversation in committee. The committee members were there along with my esteemed colleague, Mr. Kalabis in the back.
Yeah, so the 2 orders, one is to dig it up and put the stone in, the other is dispose these soils.
Michelle, do you have comments? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to address a couple of comments that were made in public. One was about moving fast, so I kind of support Dr. Aldarelli 100%, right? I believe we need to iterate fast and learn from our mistakes and take those learnings, to our strategy. And I think that's what Dr. Aldarelli is doing, and I fully support that. I believe we need to continue to do that. And I think there are some comments about mental health. I believe this board and this administration is doing something about it than just talking about it, right? And when I say that, it means I wish the Addison School District becomes the first school district in New Jersey to offer mindful breathing to our students. And studies has shown that the impact of mindful breathing has, it reduces stress and anxiety in students. So at least we are thinking about offering it. Of course, we have to figure out the logistics, but we are doing something about it, right? And I think somebody made a comment about, shoving AP down to the students' throats. I guess we are not mandating to take students' AP, right? It's about pushing boundaries of who wants to take it. Doesn't mean everybody has to take it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
And last comment, I know that when Ms. Conway came up, she mentioned about a student that got recognized at the council. Somebody actually brought that to my attention as well, along with the name, said it was a wonderful celebration, and that's something that we intend to recognize on November's board meeting. So we are in lockstep with that. So I appreciate you bringing it up tonight.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn the meeting?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you next time.